The big news is in Manchester United have sacked Jose Mourinho. So you've got me here. Everyone's been running mad around FullTimeDEVILS. So you stuck with me for this afternoon. But you guys tell me in the comments, are you happy with it? Who do you guys think should be coming in? First of all, I think we'll start with the club statement. So Manchester United announces that manager Jose Mourinho has left the club with immediate effect. The club would like to thank Jose for his work during his time at Manchester United and to wish him success in the future. A new caretaker manager will be appointed until the end of the current season while the club conducts a thorough recruitment process for a new full-time manager. So it's absolutely mad. It's going on mad. We're trying to get some of the guys on later. I think Gaz is on the way here as well. But like I said, you got me here. So you guys let me know what you think of this. Obviously, you guys know my views on my fan cams. I thought, obviously, Mourinho could have prevented a lot of this. When you look at the Derby game this season, in that when it goes to penalties, not starting a full attacking side against a side like Derby, and then you've got Valencia at home in that draw. Juventus at home, I think that showed the difference in quality that we've got right now. So obviously you guys tell me, who do you think should be the manager that steps in? Now in my opinion, I think Michael Carrick and McKenna should be both the guys that sort of take over the club until the end of the season, and a director of football should come in and sort of just help rebuild the process from next season. But yeah, you guys, I'll look into the comments now. Let's see what you guys think of who the next manager should be. There's a lot of Zidane in there. People saying give it to Everett. It would be funny to have him. Now, a couple of people say Laurent Blanc. Now, I'm not a fan of Blanc. I've watched him, obviously, in his management, and I'm not a big fan of what Blanc has done. So I'm not too sure about getting Blanc in. A couple of people as well saying Giggsy. Give it Giggsy to the end of the season. But yeah, Giggsy's he's at Wales now. He's had his ups and downs even there. So I don't think it's the right time for him to step in, and you don't want to tarnish, obviously, legacy. If it doesn't go well, it's not the right time as a club legend to come in and it doesn't go well. Loads of people saying Zidane. Now, my view on Zidane is, a lot of people say at Madrid, Zidane had his, he had all the top players in the world in that side. You had Kroos, you had your Modric, you had Ronaldo, you had all these players, and that's why it went well for him. For me, Zidane sort of done the simple thing and just played his players in their positions. Casemiro, your DM. You centre mids, Kroos, your creators just ahead of him, and then you had Ronaldo, Bale, Isco, Asensio rotating around them. And I think he sort of started with a simple system, but getting the best out of his players. And I think he can come in and he can do that with the likes of, Martial, Sanchez, even Lukaku can get the best out of him. Now, I know he's not had the best season, but loads of these players, you've got to understand, when you look back at the Liverpool game on the weekend, when they're picking the ball up, there's no movement ahead of him. They're having to drag the ball just all over the pitch, waiting for something to happen. A lot of these players, getting a goal given out of them from our fans. So I think some of them need a chance. I think there's definitely players that aren't good enough to be in the side right now. So I think what we just got to do is be patient and see how it goes. For me, like I said, Carrick and McKenna should be holding on to us until the end of the season. Get someone in to help with the rebuilding process, and I think that way you start to actually build a structure around the club. Because if you hire someone right now, I know we're hearing some things about the Lyon manager and that. If you hire someone like now with no sort of, proper recruitment process and no director of football coming in, you'll just be going into the same cycle. Some people saying Simeone. Now, I would have been a fan of having Simeone in for a bit, but I think what Simeone gives you, the problem is that something we've already had. We've not really had a manager who steps in and goes, we're just going to play this attacking system. And I think Old Trafford, Manchester United in general, are hungry for that, style of football, something different, something attacking, free-flowing football. I don't think Simeone is going to come in, and I think you're going to have similar problems with that. Now, a couple of people saying Wenger in. Don't think Wenger's going to come out of retirement. Some people saying Sir Alex. We just got to let the man chill out. He's done what he's done, so I don't think that's ever going to happen. Tim Sherwood is a bit of an odd shout in the comments. Zidane. Loads of people saying Zidane. Nicky Butt. Now, with Nicky Butt, I'm not too sure. I think, obviously, when he has managed the under-19s in the UEFA League, I've watched a bit of his games, and I do prefer to watch the under-18s in terms of the style of football, and I think McKenna would be the better man over Nicky Butt and Michael Carrick. And that's just my view of the way they've sort of managed their youth teams. And I'd sort of rather have McKenna there because of the free-flowing football that I had in that academy, in the youth teams. And, you know, with Michael Carrick, who you hear things that is so close with the players, you know, he chats to Pogba, Lukaku, you know, Jesse Lingard, those likes of players on the side, you know, he really helps them improve their game. So I'd like Carrick and McKenna to hold on to the end of the season. Loads of Jardim shouts. Now, Jardim, obviously, he left his Monaco side in a relegation battle. Of course, it wasn't only down to him, and I think, to be fair to him, 80%, it wasn't down to him. His team got ripped apart every season over the last couple of years. Monaco have been run really poorly. I mean, Thierry Henry's coming and he's not really improved. So, obviously, his style of football did look good, I think, in the Champions League run, and he didn't have all the tools to go all the way, in my opinion. So, I wouldn't mind Jardim because I think he gives you a style, he gives you a system. I don't think Mourinho had a system in place within 2 years of the job, and that's a big problem at Manchester United. If you're struggling to establish a system at a club like Manchester United, then what's the point of having you here? Because teams like Manchester United, like Liverpool, like Chelsea, like Arsenal, like City, all the big sides in the Premier League, once a manager walks in, they have to establish themselves within 2 seasons. And if that doesn't happen, then you're under pressure. And then, like you see with Mourinho, by the 3rd season, if it's all going wrong, you'll only be playing, you know, your favourite players and all that. Now, there's a couple of shouts for Eddie Howe there as well. And I like that because I think when we talk about managers who bring a system, now I know he's not a big name, but when I look at Eddie Howe, I see United 2013 under Fergie, that last season, 2012, 2013, you're playing a 4-2-3-1/4-4-2 in rotation, but you still managed to keep the ball. You still managed to play with width. I mean, we've seen them go to City recently. I think they lost 3-1, but their approach to the game was brilliant. He switched the system for that game. He understood what City would approach him with. He attacked better than United did this season, and he also held the ball better than United did this season. So I wouldn't mind seeing Eddie Howe, but I think that's more of a long-term plan. I don't think we're bringing him now. I think I'd rather bring him in the summer. Now, I've not spoke about Poch. Loads of people are screaming at me, speak about Poch. But for me, Poch, brilliant manager. I think there is one concern I have about Poch, and you guys let me know if you agree. With Poch, I think when it comes to that one game and he needs to pull the tactics out of the bag, I think a couple of those games he gets wrong. I think he can learn that throughout a job like Manchester United. He'll have a couple of hiccups. But if we're talking about purely system and changing the team, then I do like what Poch is doing at Spurs. You know, we've seen him bring in Skip last week, another youth product. I think it's around 12 academy players that he's had bringing in into that Spurs 11 at one point. So that's pretty big for us. I mean, if you look at our lads last night, Chelsea's under 18s went through a game of, I think, 30 games unbeaten. Greenwood again with a hat-trick. So you've got all these amazing youth players on our side like Chung, Greenwood. I think 2 or 3 of those should come into the side there. I think Poch coming in can really sort of get us going with that. Let's keep looking at the options in here. People keep saying Giggs. Big Sam. Not Big Sam though. Eric Cantona. I'd love Cantona. Gary Neville. No. What do you guys think of Gary Neville's comments on Twitter now with Paul Pogba's post online? Obviously, I think it was a campaign tweet that was scheduled in the morning. Him and Dybala last night in Paris doing Here to Create for Adidas. So I think that's what it was. I wouldn't look too much into it. And people really digging into Pogba this morning, you know, leave the club and this and that. He's been getting called a virus by his own manager. And I think we really need to start backing some of these players. But it's got to be hard when you're walking in. Obviously, we all understand how much money they get in that. But it's got to be hard walking into your work every morning and your manager's having a go at you. And you're getting benched against Liverpool when you should be coming off the bench to change the game. And I think that's again why I don't feel sorry for Mourinho, because he had so many chances to prevent it, one of them being Liverpool. He just keeps playing his favourite players. Had Pogba come on, we've seen it against Newcastle. I think Newcastle game was where Mourinho might have left previously to this. And I think, you know, Pogba, Martial saving his career. And then for him to sort of bench them as well against Liverpool, especially Paul Pogba, dropping in deep and showing us what he can do in that game. He's shown us the quality. A couple of people saying Ruud van Nistelrooy. I've not looked into too much if he's doing anything in management or anything like that, so let me know. People saying feeling a Milstein. I don't know. I think Rennie was at Fulham after Manchester United. Didn't go too well for him. I think we should start looking forward rather than the past. Some people saying Luis Enrique, he's a treble winner. I agree with that. He's a treble winner. He's a good manager, but again, I don't feel like he had a system at Barcelona. I watched his last couple of seasons at Barca. I think he had 3 seasons around there, 2 seasons and a half. But watching the end of him at Barca, again, lost control of the system they have. Didn't establish what he wanted in the side. And you can't have that at a top team. Nagelsmann's in there as well. Nagelsmann's doing really well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think he was at Cardiff for a while. Don't think he did too well there. I think we need a manager who's proven a system that he plays, not just proven that he's in a top side. And that's why I know a lot of people going mad at me saying Eddie Howe, but I'd look to the likes of Poch and Eddie Howe. I want a manager who comes in, a manager who, Eddie Howe's not old at all, I think he's in his 30s actually, and a manager who's going to come in and understand the players, you know, sit down with them, tell them what he wants exactly. And I don't feel like Mourinho does that. I feel like Mourinho's so much toxicity going inside the club right now. But Ancelotti's a good shout. He's doing well at Napoli. But can you pull some of these managers out of their teams right now? I'm not too sure. Frank Lampard doing well at Derby. I'm not too sure. I think some of these managers, you just got to give them time. I think you got to find sort of in the middle. We've always looked at sort of having someone established, and that's why you got Mourinho, you got even Moyes to an extent, and you got Van Gaal. And I think you sort of got to find it in the middle. You got to find someone who understands the new game, understands having a system in place, and I think that's who you bring in. Someone saying Conte. Again, Conte, I think he did really well at Juve. I enjoyed watching that Juve side week in, week out. They were amazing to watch. You know, having Pirlo, Vidal, and allowing Pogba to flourish in his position. But I'm not too sure with Conte. I think he can come in to have 2 or 3 seasons. I want something more long term, if I'm honest. And I think something more long term, it's got to be, I think it's just got to be someone like a Poch or an Eddie Howe. That's what you get. Nuno from Wolves, he's doing brilliantly at Wolves actually. So again, someone like that. Frank de Boer, I'm not too sure. He didn't do too well in the past. Vias Boas, he was alright actually when he was there. I thought he was a bit unfortunate to leave that quick, but again, not in the range of managers that I'd be looking for. Tuchel, I think he'll be at PSG for a while. I think the players like him, and he struggled to get a connection with the manager and the players at PSG. We see the likes of Neymar, Mbappe, Cavani. They have struggled sort of adapting to managers. So I think they're going to keep him sticking around. I don't think we have a chance of getting Tuchel in. Someone saying get Jay Lings in. Stormzy in is the maddest shout in the comments. Hiddink, not heard of Hiddink in a while actually. He can come in as a caretaker if we're hearing that United try get a caretaker in. But like I said, guys, in my opinion, Michael Carrick, McKenna as well, just because of what McKenna has done with the youth and academy, and he can get some of those players working in. What are we losing? Some of the players that we can get in. So going back again, some of you guys have just joined us. Obviously, the big news is Manchester United have sacked Jose Mourinho. Some of you guys are just joining us, going mad. All I'm seeing in the comments right now are your suggestions. Keep them coming in and we'll keep chatting about them. We've got Gattuso now. Someone said, I think he's a passionate manager. He seemed, really try and get the best out of his players in that side at Milan. And I love seeing a manager like that. But again, I want someone right in the mix there. Someone like Pochettino who's a bit of both sides. He's not really been at the highest level where he's gone to a Champions League final, done this, done that. But he understands the new game. He understands how the game should be working. Di Matteo, bit of a match out. Not heard about what he's doing in a while. Loads of people shouting for Howson. Why not me? Get me in. Loads of Jay Lings shouts. The comments are going mad. Cantona. Cantona's a lovely one. I'd love Cantona. Eric, even if it doesn't go well, I wouldn't go mad at Eric. So, for the guys that have just joined us, we'll read out the club statement again, and then we'll come back to you guys in the comments and just let us know what your view is. So we'll read out the club statement. So that's Manchester United announces that manager Jose Mourinho has left the club with immediate effect. The club would like to thank Jose for his work during his time at Manchester United and to wish him success in the future. A new caretaker will be appointed until the end of the current season, while the club conducts a thorough recruitment process for a new full-time manager. So a standard statement from the club, just as you expect. We've seen 2 or 3 of those now, 3 of those actually, obviously with managers. Hopefully we're not going to see one for a while now, and hopefully the next manager that walks in proves a point. So you guys let me know, yeses or nos in the comments now. Would you guys love to see Carrick and McKenna take on to the rest of the season? Adapt a couple of the youth products that we've got that are really doing well, and you know, especially when you look at what Chong and Greenwood are doing for that side, it's unbelievable. So would you guys like to see those players step in with the likes of McKenna and Carrick, sort of getting them in there and trying to sort of get anything out of the season? We've still got the Champions League. Now this is what gets me excited. I will be applying for PSG away. I will be in Paris. Hopefully I will be in Paris. But now I'm excited for the Champions League. Yesterday I look at the draw. I was telling my mates last year, I'd love to go Paris for the Champions League. But now I'm excited because I know there's going to be something fresh. I know hopefully something attacking is going to be in there. Loads of shouts for Marco Silva. Loads of people saying yes to what I said. I love that our fans want that, and you want to see us with a rebuilding process. Yes, it might not go well, but I think we need to get a director of football in and sort of establish what system we want to play, what players we want to recruit. The director of football is going to say, this is the manager I'd like to work with. This manager has done this, done that. Statman Dave as manager. Statman Dave was awful for our studios team. He was sat at the top of the roof just drinking and having a laugh. I was doing absolutely rubbish in some of our six-a-side tournaments that we were involved in over the summer. So I wouldn't get Statman Dave in at all. Statman Dave out, actually, lads. We should get someone who's yet to win something, keep them hungry. Yeah, see, that's where the Eddie Howe thing comes in as well. It's not, for me with Eddie Howe, it's not the fact that he's yet to win anything and he's going to come in wanting to win and prove a point. But with Eddie Howe, like I said, it's a system that he comes in and plays, and we've seen him go to teams like City and play better than us. You know, with no funding at all, pretty much. Loads of shouts for Andy Tate to come in. Andy Tate might be coming in here and having a chat with you guys later on. So stick around. Make sure you're sticking around. We'll get some more of the views from the guys. I think Gaz is coming in soon as well. So can't wait for that. Adam McCullough as new manager. So yeah, you guys, what do you think? House and Dave or Adam McCullough? Who would you get in if you had the option? Loads of shouts for Blanc. Like I said, I've already given my view on him. Not a fan. I don't think he's established anything at all. So let's just see how that goes. Obviously, you guys are just coming in with some mad ones. Guardiola. So let's just see what these guys say. Zidane and Evra. That would be pretty cool. Imagine Zidane and Evra. That would be like your childhood dream. Zidane and Evra managing your team as a Manchester United fan. You know, growing up watching Zidane, he's absolutely fantastic. And obviously, imagine Evra as well. The banter that he brings to the club and the connection that he'll have with the likes of Pogba, Martial and all the French lads, all the lads at the club. Let's see who's winning this one. It looks like Adam's in ahead with the comments. McCullough. Steve? No Steve or Dave. No Howson and Dave. Loads of shouts for Wenger. It's a bit of a weird one. I won't pull him out again. I think the game's ahead of him a bit. Again, I want someone right in the mix like Poch and Eddie Howe. Just something different at the club, but someone who understands the new game, how the game works. Someone who's going to establish a system. So, like I said, loads of you guys agreed with me about having Carrick and McKenna to hold on to the rest of the season. Let's see what they bring to the side. Unless it goes terribly wrong around the January period, then I won't look at getting anyone in. Now, in my opinion, this is really good for us in January because we can make a similar move to what Liverpool have done. They bought Van Dijk in and I think changed the whole mood of the club. No matter what manager you're having, I think we've got to look at getting a De Ligt or Koulibaly in, because I think the problem we have right now, and this is where I am with Jose Mourinho on, is not agreeing with what he has defensively. Although it did go completely the opposite way to last season, you know. I think we conceded more than we did last season as well already. Some City for life in the comments. We're coming for you guys. Don't worry. Winning the treble this season. Nagelsmann in with a shout as well. I don't know too much about him. I'd have heard loads of good stuff about him as well, but I'd have to read into him before I give you my view. Harry Redknapp. I think he's in the Army Celeb thing, whatever it is. I don't watch that stuff, but Harry Redknapp was definitely a character. Definitely wouldn't have him around now. Club said it's external. The club said that within the next 48 hours. So someone's saying that the club said it will be someone from within the club. So someone external, sorry. So we'll have to see what happens with that. It is going all crazy. And that's why I made today, obviously, Everyone's just running around mad at FullTimeDEVILS. We haven't been able to get everyone in yet, but Gaz is coming in soon. He'll give you the view on that. But yeah, guys, we'll go through the club statement again. For everyone that has joined us, Jose Mourinho has been sacked by Manchester United. Keep your comments coming in of who you want next. We're getting some absolute wild ones in there. We'll start with the club statement now for you guys. So Manchester United announces that manager Jose Mourinho has left the club with immediate effect. The club would like to thank Jose for his work during his time at Manchester United and to wish him success in the future. A new caretaker manager will be appointed until the end of the current season, while the club conducts a thorough recruitment process for a new full-time manager. Hulk Hogan in the comments. We're getting some absolute mad ones. I think the craziest one up to now is Stormzy though. Let's see if anyone can beat one. Can beat that Stormzy one. I think Stormzy one's pretty mad. I'll take Stormzy as manager, why not? Poching, Glazers sell. I don't think you're going to get the Glazers going now. I think, you know what would have been, when the news is coming out, it's weird that this comes out literally half an hour after we're beat by Liverpool, but when you hear the fact that we might be selling the club half an hour after the game's ended, I'm not too sure about that. I think that is a possibility within the next few years, but I think if it was a definite thing, I think they would have kept their money, they would have kept Mourinho in, they wouldn't have sacked him, and I think it might have happened around the summer. But this is really good because what happens now is the fact that the mood changes at the club. You know, you can have a Carrick, McKenna coming in and you know, lifting the team, having a bigger connection with the younger players on the side. Like I said, bringing some of the youth players like Greenwood. You know, if you look at some of the way some of those players play for our under-18s, the work rate that they put in, I'd love to have that in our first team. I'm not going to be turning up at Old Trafford, hopefully, seeing Matic, Fellaini, McTominay start with no runners around them. That's not what we want to see. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump. Someone said Martinez. I'm not too sure Martinez again. He struggled. He did struggle at Everton, so at Belgium, I think it's a long-term plan for him to stay there. Someone said Fredo. I think I'll stick to Storm, to be honest, if it was one of them two. Rafa Benitez, doing a good job at Newcastle, actually, that he's had, but I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too sure about bringing Rafa Benitez, an ex-Liverpool manager who failed to win the title. So, loads of shouts for Ollie, sorry. I'm not too sure about having Solskjaer in again. He doesn't fall in that mix that I'm looking for, someone who's new into the game but has established a system in their team and has done and progressed their team. I know that Spurs haven't won anything, but I feel like Poch brings that into the side. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, I think he announced that he's sticking around in the MLS for a bit. But yeah, he will be a bit of a character to have in the side. You wouldn't want to fall out with him. KSI, Joey Barton. I think he's at Fleetwood now, Joey Barton, Eminem. I have some mad ones. Ibrahimovic. No. Stormzy and Lukaku. Loads. I think the most one I've noticed is either Zidane or Poch. I've had a couple of Eddie Howe's in there from what I've noticed. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you think. Keep them coming in because I'll keep giving you my view on what on these managers that you're suggesting. David Beckham, again, that would fall into the one where I'm like, oh, imagine, you know, childhood, when you're growing up, you're thinking David Beckham is your manager, or Zidane, or any of these guys. Eric Cantona. Nicky Butt. Again, I gave you guys my view on Nicky Butt. Not too sure about him. I think I'd rather have a Carrick and McKenna because of what he's done in the youth team. We've got Radio Gazin. He's just stepped in. What do you think of the news, mate?
What news? What have I missed?
Oh, mate. What's happened? Mate, Jose Mourinho has been sacked by Manchester United. Absolutely unbelievable news. What do you reckon of that?
Mate, do you know what I know? I was looking forward to me lie-in today. I had a lie-in today, got up about 11 o'clock, looked at my phone, 7 missed calls from producer Chris. Like, what's happened? What's gone on?
It's
I'm
absolutely
worried.
Gone mad. Do you know what happened with me, actually? So, it's my day off. Got a bit of a lie-in this morning. I hear my door open. I'm like, who's coming into my room at this time? And my mates woke me up. I'm like, why are you waking me up? And just gone, Jose Mourinho's been sacked. I'm like, why having a laugh with me? He's not been sacked. And then he showed me, and I'm like, I've just got up and given him a hug. I'm like, yes.
I remember it being like a similar situation. Last 2 times the managers got sacked, but we all saw it coming, didn't we? Last time we all expected it to happen when it happened.
Yeah.
And it was almost after it should have happened. The last 2 times they waited till, for example, it was mathematically impossible to finish top 4.
That's what I thought would happen because it kept dragging on. I think you see that pretty much everyone at the club, and I hear a lot of things from inside the club, even some of the committed players and that, they're just not happy with what's going on. And once it goes that far to the players who are committed to the manager, that are unhappy with the situation, I think that's when you lose your dressing room, you lose your fans, you lose everything around the club. And I think, you think it's the right thing, the right move?
Yeah, it's the right move. But I mean, we knew he was gone, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
We knew, and like, as soon as it got to the point that we knew as people who watch football, we knew this team wasn't going to get top 4 and it's on the form that it's on. We knew it wasn't going to happen. But we all thought, I think, you probably thought the same as me, that it was going to be after we got knocked out of the Champions League, or it was actually impossible for us to get top 4.
That's what I said last night.
So the fact that we've actually got rid of him now suggests that whoever it is making the decisions, Ed Woodward, the board, whatever, has some sort of a semblance of football knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think them bringing in a director of football, if it is true, that's where you can start restructuring the club and building it again.
Right, I need to be real with you, mate. What time is it now? It's 1:45. I've not even had a time to sit down and like go through actually everything that's come out. What's that about a director of football? I've not heard anything about this.
This is coming out from around the Liverpool game. They're saying that regardless of what happens, and I think this is one of the reasons Jose Mourinho probably had a bigger fallout now after the Liverpool game with the club, is that there will be a director of football appointed.
Okay.
Regardless. And I think Jose Mourinho is unhappy with that, and he shouldn't be, because you need someone a club like Manchester United, all the big clubs, like, first thing, I said this earlier, you have 2 or 3 seasons where you need to establish a system. You need to have, even when you've spent a certain amount of money, you need to have a system in place. And I understand that he hasn't got all of his players, but that's one of the problems, and I think that comes from not having a director of football, someone who's going to understand why we're going to have this manager as our next manager, why he deserves to be our next manager. And right now, we don't have that at the club, and I think that's why we need a director of football in there ASAP.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. It's going to be interesting who we bring in now. I mean, I'm guessing you've been chatting about it already.
We've been chatting about
what have the guys in the comments been saying? Who do they want in?
We've had a true Geordie in there. We're doing the maddest one. We've had the maddest one. We've had Stormzy now, which is my favourite one. I'd love Stormzy as manager. Dennis Irwin's a bit of a mad one now. Just because I've been talking about this loads, but just to let you know, obviously, my view of it is that I think we should have Carrick and McKenna hold on to the rest of the season. The reason I have that, I think, is because McKenna has worked really well with our youth team. Free-flowing football, you enjoy watching that side, the under-18s. You chat to a lot of the young players in that side, and they absolutely love him, and they say the football they played, they enjoyed. So I think it's good that we might see likes of Greenwood and Chong come in, sort of get them in the mix, get something fresh in there, get some new ideas.
Positive vibe, innit?
Exactly, man. It's just a change of mood. There was something as well coming out in the MEN that one of the reasons was actually, it was a mood lift. It was like the main reason was a mood lift, and you understand it because you can't keep killing the club like that. It's clearly not going well for us. So it does sound like it was partly a mood lift. Someone said Gandalf in the comments.
I mean, to be honest, he'd be the only one who'd get us top 4 this season, a bit of a wizard.
Yeah.
No, but oh my God, I've just seen a shout for Wenger as well, and the reason that one annoys me more than anyone is because it could possibly actually happen. There were some rumours, I swear, I saw a rumour, sorry, I can't quote the source, so I don't know it, so don't believe me if you don't want, but I did see a rumour saying that it's going to be an external manager that comes in, so no one actually currently at the club.
Is that for the caretaker one?
Yeah, for the caretaker job. So that could be Wenger till the end of the season. Who knows? But yeah, guys, in case you haven't seen, this is it. Jose Mourinho has been sacked by Manchester United. It has officially happened. Before it was mathematically impossible for us to get top 4 as well. Abdullah, what do you make of it all then?
I didn't expect it. Last night, I was just chatting, on Twitter and that, and I was just saying, I don't expect him to leave until it's mathematically impossible, and it shocked me. Woke up with a shock. My mate shocked me, just woke me up, and I'm like, wow, I just can't believe it. Didn't think he'd already come in by now, so we're just going to have to see what the club makes as the next decision, man.
The problem is, right, I don't think we can be too happy and too excited at the minute, because I mean, I know we both agree that the problems at United, they go beyond the manager, 100%. And they're right at the top. They come from the board to the chief executive to the manager as well. However, all excuses away from it, Jose Mourinho should have done better with that team that he had, shouldn't he?
Most
and that's why he's
certainly.
lost
I
his
think
job.
I was just saying now, like, I didn't expect it. It shocked me just purely because, you know, of obviously having Mourinho until it's mathematically impossible. That's what we've done with previous managers. Now, obviously, you've got to look at a caretaker manager in. Have you got anyone in mind do you think that can carry us on to the end of the
I
season?
think it's all got to be about that positive vibe now. Some of us, I mean, me, I know I'm in this basket definitely.
Yeah.
I dread going to Old Trafford at the minute.
100%.
Absolutely dread it. Obviously, I'll go to every game I can, but I dread it. We just need someone to bring back a positive vibe.
Yeah.
If United were in the situation they were in now, but actually trying to play attacking football and almost trying to play attractive football, it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, we all know this season's a write-off now.
Yeah.
I would like Michael Carrick personally.
Yeah,
I know
I agree.
like someone.
I would like Michael Carrick, and I would like Carrick McKenna to be leading with him, of course. What about your next manager? Who do you bring in?
Next boss, man. I think the criteria for the next one now has to be someone who plays attacking football, attractive football, someone who has a track record. That has got to be the number one priority, because the last two managers we've gone for managers who are supposedly winners.
Yeah.
And
I think you need someone in the mix. So I think you need someone like a Poch, who's obviously understands the new game, how the new game goes, but has also progressed with limited funds. Now, that might obviously get Ed Woodward a little bit excited that he'll have limited funds, but if you look at the side...
More money for noodle sponsors.
More money for noodle sponsors, mate. Bloody hell. But if you think about it, he should be doing a lot better. He should have done a lot better, Jose Mourinho, with this side. And I think if we had someone like Poch in, straight away he comes in, he gets the light of Fred, Herrera, Pereira, all of those guys. Eddie Howe's in with a shout as well. I love the system that he plays for Bournemouth.
Mate, I'll take Poch just because of the attractive football.
Yeah, 100%. And I think if we look at how Eddie Howe turned up at City and played better football than us, but also changed his system, you look at the 4-2-3-1/4-4-2 system, he's been playing whilst controlling the ball, playing with width. And I feel like that's someone he can build on. I do want to see someone that stays in long term.
Eddie Howe's not just done it at that top.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
I get you.
People will say the same about Poch, because everyone says that he's not won anything. I was saying,
but we've had established managers. See, that's my point.
Yeah,
that was literally my same view. But I was just saying we've had established managers right now. So again, I don't want to see an ex-player come in and tarnish his name, and it doesn't go well for him. That's what you don't want. So loads of people with shouts of Gary Neville and Scholes and that, Giggs and all these mad ones. I wouldn't personally go for any of them. I think you got to go for someone in the mix. So you got to go someone with a bit of experience at a relatively big club in the Premier League. He understands the new game, and I think that's where Poch lies into. If not, you got to go with someone that, if you have a director of football, they can chart and say which players we need and understand and restructure the club. And I think that's where someone like Eddie Howe comes in for me. But Poch is my number one.
You could even say Poch as well, because of like he's not had a lot of money to spend. So him with 100%. An actual director of football, with 100%. Someone who can direct him in the right way to spend the money, then absolutely right. And I hope our transfer policy is a little bit different as well. In January, January is going to be interesting now with signing players, because like I say, I think the season's a write-off now. But looking into the summer, I think our transfer policy has got to be different from let's try and get these Galacticos, let's try and get these big marquee players.
I think that's got to change. I think that's where a director of football comes in, and he brings in something different because of his understanding of what's going on around the game. He's actually doing the right scouting. He's talking to the scouts. His game is dealing with who we're bringing in, dealing with the contracts, dealing with all that stuff. So you guys let us know. Keep going in the comments. Loads of people saying no to Howe. Again, loads of people saying in. Howe in. Marco Silva still in with a shout.
I tell you who is in with a shout that I just saw on a betting company today. Andy Tate, 300 to 1.
300 to 1. Get your money on that. I was just saying we're gonna get House and Adam or Statman Dave. And Adam won the votes, I think, in my opinion, in the comments. I wouldn't allow Statman Dave to run.
Oh no! Could you imagine Statman Dave?
Mate, he managed he managed us in like a 6-a-side tournament over the summer. He's chilling on the roof of Power League, just having a drink. He only got me on for 2 minutes as well.
Dave sounds like my type of manager. I'm up for that. Rio, someone says. Martin, bloody hell, not Martinez. There's loads of names coming out, some absolutely mental names. We appreciate all the comments. I've seen that.
I've seen that earlier. Moise, Andy Tate is lit.
Yeah, I think that, the shout about Poch, I understand, I understand why some people are against it, but who else is there now? Who is a better name than Poch? And I don't think Zidane's a better. I don't think Zidane's a better manager than Pochettino.
I think It's a bit of a hard one because I think I was just chatting about how Zidane made it so simple. He played his players in the right position. He played his controller in central midfield, Modric, Kroos, and he played Casemiro, the DM. He just does all the dirty work. And then he had Ronaldo, Asensio, Bale, Isco, free-flowing in attack. And Marcelo
how did he do so well?
But I'm saying those are top players. But my point is that look at the top players that we have. Now, I know they're nowhere near that level. But I think someone can come in and get Pogba to the Modric or Kroos level that with and Pogba definitely has it. He can be better than that. We all know the talent's there that with Paul Pogba. I think there's loads of players that have just been locked in by Mourinho. You see when we're looking at the Liverpool game, Jesse Lingard picks the ball up, Marcus Rashford picks the ball up, they come into the middle, there's no movement ahead of them. That's why a lot of players are getting dug out, for not performing well, but the system, the tactics doesn't allow you to perform well. And I think that's where, I understand Paul Pogba sometimes overdoes it and all of that, but I don't think the system's helped any of these players, and it's not give them a chance to sort of give us and show us what they can do in the side.
Even players, and I think United fans are far too quick to dismiss certain players when we have a bad run of form. They're just like, no, they're rubbish, they're done. Even players that a lot of people are saying don't have it, just don't have the quality. For example, Romelu Lukaku. Some people are saying recently that we need to get rid of him.
27, 28 goals last season.
Exactly, he can't be that bad. Now, don't get me wrong, I think he's looked absolutely atrocious recently as well.
I think a lot of it is down to him, but I think the big problem we have again is the system. We keep playing it direct to him. That's not how many times the ball comes to him. It's just him that.
How many times does he run and point in front of him?
Why?
And then no one gives it him. And
if we look at the Fulham game, when he scores that goal, where was the ball coming from? We got knocked in behind on the wing, back in the box. That's where you want Lukaku. You want him in the box. And I think with him improving his game, with a new manager coming in, let's start Marcus Rashford, Tony Marshall together and see what happens and bring in Lukaku throughout the season. And maybe he changes his game throughout as well.
A comment then I saw from someone called Kaushik. He was saying that a man who's won 3 Champions Leagues is a much better manager than a manager who's won nothing at all. It's because I said Pochettino's a better manager than Zidane. That's a very simplistic way of looking at things, isn't it? When you walk into a Madrid job, it is, isn't it? Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking it away from what Zidane did. It was absolutely incredible to win the Champions League. However, winning the league is harder than winning the Champions League. That's true. I'm not saying that, I know Poch hasn't won the league, but what he's done with Spurs was above that level with the squad they had.
If I look at it purely tactically, I like both Poch and Zidane, because if you look at Zidane in Juventus, the Champions League final, I think it was a draw at half time, and you think it's a 50-50 game here. Comes out, shuts Juventus out the game. Madrid have full control, score 2 or 3 goals, and he's won 3 Champions Leagues. Look at how they've collapsed now. I know they've lost Ronaldo, but how does your side collapse like that? That's someone who brings in a different energy. If you look at Gareth Bale, talks of him leaving, he assured Gareth Bale that he let him know that's what your position will be at my club. I don't think you'll be starting every game. Still got him 46 appearances, still got the right players involved, still got the best out of his players. So I think they're both in with a shout, but Poch probably best suited. So I do agree. I think it'd have to be someone in the mix now, a new manager who understands the new game. He's managed 2 or 3 different countries now, 3 or 4 seasons now at Spurs. He has progressed them. Now, I know they've not won trophies, but my only problem with Poch is I think when it's come down to certain games where I'm like, you've got to pull out a tactical masterclass here, I think he's not done it. You've got to look at us, FA Cup semi-final. I think they should be doing better there. They go up, the system sort of collapses. Arsenal recently, I think that's my only criticism of him. But I think you're going to have your hiccups, but it's all about a breath of fresh air. People saying Simeone, but I said, you're just going back into that defensive. Now, Simeone can come in and do well, but I think loads of these players just want to be freed. They want to play with freedom, something new, something fresh in the side. And I don't think Simeone comes in and does that. It might have been good 2 or 3 years ago, but I think that we've kept going around with Van Gaal and Mourinho now. I think it's got to be someone like Poch who brings a breath of fresh air, attacking football and understanding.
I can't
the new
have
game.
that people who are saying get rid of Jose are saying bring Simeone in. I'm not having that. That's awful.
It will have to be an attacking appointment.
That's what it needs to be.
It has to be something progressive in the side.
You always got sick of saying things like, they get it, they get the club, and it's the Man United way of playing. And it almost got a bit like eye roll at times during Jose's thing, because it was like, who cares if he's winning? But next manager that comes in needs to be someone who understands the style of football that we've played throughout.
100%. It's going to have to be someone that understands what the club actually means. I think that's where the director of football comes in. Because if we step in now, you have Caretaker McKenna to the end of the season. Obviously, we're hearing it's going to be external.
We're just hearing something here from Mike Keegan, a journalist at the Mail. He said, bit more on caretaker manager at United. It will be someone steeped in the traditions of the club. Not Carrick, but Neville. currently tying up loose ends with other interests which are not expected to present any issues. Announcement expected before the weekend. Who could that be? Steve. It's not Everett.
Mate, if it's Paddy Everett, we are having a party, mate.
Mate, I want that video just on loop outside the stadium.
Imagine if it's Eric Cantona. That's the dream, innit? Eric Cantona.
I'll tell you what, mate.
That is the dream.
Bring a positive vibe for the rest of the season.
But he will fly kick someone.
I'm actually thinking who it is. Who is it? Who is it? Someone steeped in the history of the club.
Giggs. Because
but didn't he say not Giggs, Neville or Scholes? Was that what that said then, Chris? Not Giggs, Neville or Scholes. That was right, wasn't it?
We'll check that now.
What said. Not Carrick, but Neville.
Yeah.
It can't be Giggs though. He's got Wales.
Giggs, yeah.
He's got Wales as well, and he's busy, isn't he?
He's not doing that well with Wales.
Yeah, but he's not going to take a 6-month job at United, is he? And also, I'll say this, right? Say if we bring another manager in now, I can see it coming, right? If we bring another manager in, start playing good football, it's good to watch, fair enough. We're not winning every game. We don't get ourselves into the top 4. That's not going to happen. But say if we play some good football and finish 5th, please don't have people at the end of the season saying, let's keep Carrick, or let's keep Giggsy, whoever it is. No. No.
There's people shouting for Blanc. I don't know about Blanc.
Maybe Lauren Blanc. No, Blanc's an option as a 6-month. As a 6-month thing. That's probably what they're saying. That's probably what they're saying, that it could be him.
I've just not enjoyed what he's done outside of the Premier League when I've watched what he's done. I think at PSG at times. I don't think he built a system or sort of established himself. So I think, again, he doesn't fall into what I want to see. I'd rather keep a Caretaker or McKenna in there.
He'd be all right for 6 months, though, wouldn't he? You don't think?
Yeah, he'd be all right if it's 6 months, but I think long term we definitely need something else, and I don't think we actually do need him for 6 months.
So some of your opinions coming in here, who you think it could be? Now we know sort of some information. Someone steeped in the history of the club, but not Scholesy or Gary Neville. Some people say Mark Hughes. I mean, he's available, isn't he? Some people saying Sir Alex. I don't think with being ill recently, he's not going to come in for 6 months. That's not going to happen. I wouldn't want to do it to him either, to be honest. Yeah, sure. Someone saying Zidane. Well, he's not steeped in the history of Manchester United, is he? So probably not him. Mark Hughes is a name that...
Jemba.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's a name. That could be him.
I was thinking that earlier, but I was looking at what he did at Cardiff, looking elsewhere. I'm just saying that, yes, it might be for 6 months, but I would still rather go with a Carrick McKenna.
Okay.
Just because of, I think, there is no point.
No.
What if it goes well for 6 months, but long term, it's not going to go well, and it's not established, and I don't know. I'm worried about who comes in, and it could go wrong for 6 months.
And can I just say,
I'd rather just stick around with what we have.
How buzzing I am that we've actually come out and said, right, we're going to bring in a caretaker manager, and we're actually going to think about who our next manager is.
Bring in a director of football and slow down everything and have a look at ourselves and what's going on wrong at the club. And I think that's, for once in a long time, club have made a sensible decision at the top.
What about King of the Jungle? Harry Redknapp.
Oh, King of the Jungle. Seen Harry Redknapp earlier. He's having a hell of a time. Is he still in that Amateur level?
Nah, it's over. He won it.
Did he win it?
He won it, yeah.
Brilliant.
So Ed Woodward was watching it and he was like, hang on a minute.
People say it's harder than winning the Premier League. Get him in.
Amazing. Get him in. Get the King of the Jungle in. Nicky Butt, a few people saying, the report that we had then just said it's not going to be Nicky Butt, apparently. I'm actually quite excited to find out who it could be for 6 months, because I've got a feeling it could be someone who is a bit mad. Just, you know what I mean? It could be someone like that has absolutely no chance of taking it over in the summer.
Yeah. It could. See, that's what it is. It could be something just absolutely nuts. Imagine it's actually Paddy Everett. He's been sat with Ed Woodward the last few weeks.
Or if Everett gets manager's job, Park has to be assistant, or the other way around.
Mate,
it's gotta be. It's gotta bring that. I remember them on MUTV back in the day.
Yeah, that was well funny, mate. The proper mates.
He used to call himself Rush Hour.
Yeah. I always used to see them edits of them on the covers of Rush Hour. It's well funny. But the proper mates actually now. You always see them chat to each other and that. And I think he travelled all the way to South Korea. Just his mum's funeral. Yeah, he's that close with him, so that would be funny to have them.
I didn't know that.
The proper mates. To now, so I wouldn't mind. Loads of shouts for Cantona still.
Like I say, right, when people are probably here watching this, probably thinking, who are these lunatics shouting Patrice Evra and Eric Cantona for manager and things like that, right? Right, if Patrice Evra was given the Man United job permanently, or if Eric Cantona was, we know it would be a disaster. We just know the season's a write-off, don't we, really? And we've got 6 months left. Let's just...
Exactly, let's just have a laugh with it. Let's go Paris, cause havoc. Snap Neymar's legs.
Something to bring the mood up, mate. Going to Old Trafford, getting excited.
You know what I was thinking? Yeah, we got. When I was thinking that we got PSG last night, I've been banging on for like a year or two how I'd love to go Paris for an away. I've always wanted to go Paris, so I'm like, but it's come at the worst time. I'm not in the mood to go and watch United anymore. And it's not me being fickle or anything, mate. I've been to watch us get battered with Van Gaal, with Moyes, home and away, and but right now it's just the feelings like the club was finished. And this just an absolute mad breath of fresh air.
This is what I mean, though. It's not when you say like, you dread going to them. Oh, I don't want to go when the club's like this. That's not because the club isn't winning anything. Because the club that like I say, we were to bring someone in who would just play a bit of just try and play attractive football, try and play attacking football. Just at least give it a go.
An expectation that something might be different in this game. Not turning up and finding McTominay, Matic and Fellaini in your side and Phil Jones. McTominay was a bloody striker at one point for our under-23s, and he wasn't performing too well for our under-23s. There was so many players ahead of him. Now, we're just going to go ahead, read the club statement again for you guys. So, for anyone that has just joined us, Jose Mourinho has been sacked. We'll go ahead, read the club statement for you guys now. So, Manchester United announces that manager Jose Mourinho has left the club with immediate effect. The club would like to thank Jose for his work during his time at Manchester United and to wish him success in the future. A new caretaker will be appointed until the end of the current season, while the club conducts a thorough recruitment process for a new full-time manager. So that's the club statement from Manchester United in regards to Jose Mourinho being sacked. If you guys have just joined us, Tyson Fury in with a shout. Mate, I would love Fury. I would love Tyson Fury. Mate, he's got the craziest accent ever. Have you figured out what accent is he out?
Mate, right. Tyson Fury, when I was growing up, I lived like round the corner from him. This is what was mad, and I was like to my mum, like, did he grow up round there? Like when I heard him on the news, and like, she's like, yeah. I was like, I don't sound like that.
Born him with a show. I don't get his accent. I feel like he puts it on. But you know what? Tyson Fury would be well funny because he'd have his fight in like May or something there as well, and he'd get everyone on it.
I just keep having this horrible feeling in the back of my head that someone like bloody Wenger's gonna get it for 6 months. It's not gonna happen.
As manager, I'd take Jay Lings as manager. Paris is an amazing city, yeah, man. I can't wait to go there. Hopefully, I'm gonna apply. Hopefully, I won't forget, but I will be applying right now for it.
You know what I want to do, and it's annoying that the PSG game has come, but my car's got about a year left on its life. It's probably going to die in about a year.
Just take it to Paris.
Mate, honestly, I'm thinking before it dies, let's take it.
Let's kill it in Paris. Finish it off in Paris. Why not?
Mate, we'll set fire to it in the riots after United spank him 3-0
about that.
with Cantona as manager. It's going to happen. Right, Peter Schmeichel. Someone shout. Like I say, guy, honestly, all these guesses are just as good as anything we can say at this point. But I mean, we could. Come on,
King Garrett,
bring it in. Come on, Eric. He's not having it. I'd be all for it, honestly. Imagine they'd give them out before the game. Everyone would be in these before kick-off. Make it happen. Am I straight? Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Brilliant. Get King Eric in.
Southgate in another shout. Right, someone steeped in history. We need like 3 names that it could be. Yeah. Someone steeped in history of the club. It's not Butt, it's not Scholes, and it's not the Neville brothers. So Giggs is obviously a name there.
Giggs is a name.
Giggs is obviously a name. He's obviously one of them.
I'm trying to think.
Steeped in the history. I know, but Brian Robson's not a realistic, is it?
When's the last time he managed?
It's not happening. No, I can't see that one. Keane, I honestly can't see that. I can't see any chance of that one happening. Blanc, you say steeped in the history of the club. Jaap Stam?
Roy Keane, no.
Jaap Stam or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Not Roy Keane, honestly, mate.
What about Jaap Stam or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer maybe for 6 months?
Jaap Stam and Ole.
Because what was Jaap Stam's last job? Reading? Or is he? He's not still there, is he?
I think he might still be there.
I swear he got sacked.
Loads of people saying Jaap Stam.
Hughes. Oh, you can't have someone
Paddy,
like
lads. Honestly, mate, Evra would just get me so excited. Like, I don't even care if we lose. Just get Uncle Pat on. Let's go mental.
Him on the touchline, mate.
Mate, we'll be having Luke Shaw, like, just going on a mad one.
I'll tell you something that would happen, yeah. Like, all the young lads would be bloody going forward like crazy with Evra.
Instagram videos every morning. Soon as fuming every week. Mate, hook that time means. I love that. Like
Souness going red in the face.
Jesse, Pogba, you know, all these lads on the Instagram videos every morning. Let's have a bit of that.
We've not even talked about it. I'm sorry to bring the mood down because I know this is going to piss you off because it pissed me off as well. But Paul Pogba and the reaction to that post, which was online today. So, in case you didn't see this, what happened today, I'm sure you have seen it. After the news broke about Jose, there was a post on Paul Pogba's, it was on his Twitter,
Yeah.
And it was basically him doing this like funny eyebrow raised face. Then it was caption this. Now this was just after Jose had been sacked. However, he'd also tagged Adidas Football in it. He'd also hashtagged here to create.
And last night, him and Dybala were doing the advert, I think, for Adidas again, and they usually do release it next morning. It's a scheduled thing.
Yeah.
And I think it was. I actually think it. I don't think it was intentional.
Definitely a scheduled
I don't think
post.
With the tags and everything, the hashtags and stuff like that. A bit of social media guy myself, so I am defending Pogba. It wasn't his fault.
And this is what I thought as well today. I thought, like, is it just, you know, working
Gary
in social
Neville
media
straight away having a dig at him.
Gary Neville, also on Sky Sports today, can I just mention, they're not mentioning the fact that it could have been a scheduled tweet. They're just acting as if he's posted it.
And then
they've got Souness on and they're asking him about it. And it was the first Souness fan, so they're giving out fake facts.
All I'm saying is, if Neville keeps up with this whole attitude that he's got going on right now, keep him far away as the club as possible, because right now it's the last thing we need, and you clearly don't care about the club. If you just love spreading rumours and love to cause all this problem and this divide in our club right now, do you really care about the club when you are speaking like that?
That is exactly it. Just think about what you're putting on social media. Like someone like Gary Neville, no doubt he's been lecturing young players about how they use social media, and he doesn't know how to use it himself. Putting reactionary things like that on. It takes a second to look up what that could have been, and then you would have known. And also, like how many middle-aged blokes are we going to have to explain this to over the next few weeks? So you saw what Pogba put, didn't you? It was a scheduled post. Paul Pogba wouldn't use the hashtag here to create. You numbskulls. Right, here's what Poch has come out and said anyway. He's mentioned something on the United links. A lot of rumours happen, but it's not my business what happens at another club. I'm so focused on giving my best to Tottenham. Standard, what you'd expect, really. Laurent Blanc has also come out as well. He said this about being considered. Oh no, sorry, no, that's what Sky Sports have reported this now. Laurent Blanc is being considered by the Man United board as they search for the man to replace Jose Mourinho until the end of the season. Right, so Blanc's there in those three names. I'd say Blanc, Giggs, and then maybe there's another one that will possible to get it for 6 months. But I think that's a possible one there. Blanc for 6 months. What do you think about that, mate?
Again, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind someone coming in like Blanc for 6 months. He has had previous experience in management. My only problem is with that is that I think Caretaker McKenna and with the director of football above them is enough, and I think hasn't done too well in terms of the system he's played at places like PSG and that. So I don't think we should rush into something. I know it's 6 months, but I think let's just try something different, in my opinion. It doesn't have to. I think Caretaker McKenna can do it. Why not? What we're losing?
No, that's the question. What are we losing?
So we've got nothing to lose, and I'm happy that this is coming in before the transfer window, because I think I was just thinking now, just like Liverpool when they bought in Van Dijk and it lifted the club and they needed that one defender, I think we can bring in like a Koulibaly or a defender that will start us from the back. Because I do agree with Mourinho that our defenders aren't enough to him to allow the midfielders to do what they want. And I think that's why I played in the defensive system. But I think if we bring in anyone in right now, we still need to sign someone. What do you think? Do you think we still need to sign someone?
Before the end of in January. Like we say though, I just don't think there's anything coming of this season. However, in January, let's see who's available. Let's not rush in and sign because we need a defender.
I'd love a Koulibaly.
Yeah,
he's established himself in Europe, arguably best centre half. In my opinion, best centre half. I've been watching him a lot this season in Europe this season alongside Van Dijk. So why not take advantage of Napoli being out of the Champions League and hopefully they lower the price and that and get something out of it.
That's a good point. Well, like I hope we've just got like a list of defenders that we want, and whoever's available, if any of them are available, let's go for one of them. Let's not do what we did last year and just randomly go for Sanchez.
Yeah,
you know, which we weren't planning on getting Sanchez.
That's what I'm saying. Long-term planning, understanding what the club actually needs, rather than just going for those big names, is what's important right now.
Defender, mate. I'd love Koulibaly in January. Would be brilliant for a new manager.
Loads
as well.
of people saying Del Bosque. What's he even doing? I've not heard of what he's doing in a while.
Is he not retired?
Yeah, it might be.
I'm pretty
not too sure about him. Bobby Charlton.
No, but to be honest, though, the rumours, I think that I would believe that those rumours from Sky Sports, and maybe that's because it's just the first name we've heard so far, but Sky Sports reporting that Laurent Blanc looks like he could be getting it as caretaker manager for 6 months. So it's obviously not a massively exciting caretaker appointment, but it's only for 6 months, guys.
Someone said Paul Ince. I would not want him near the club. Did you see what I said about Jesse Lingard last night?
No.
Or was it two nights ago? Something like that. He was like, all you see on his Instagram is him going to Miami and him having a laugh with his mates and blah, blah, blah. He shouldn't be putting that up there. Him launching his clothing line. First of all, this whole clothing line thing, he launched that in the summer. So let's have none of that. And I was at the event. All Jesse was doing was meeting the fans. Who's doing that at Manchester United right now? That's what matters. Meeting the fans, spending your afternoon with the fans. You could be doing something else in your afternoon. So Paul Ince, keep it shut. You're not a United legend. I don't want to see you near the club. And I've just had enough of this whole these Yadars that we have on Sky.
These guys go on like if social media wasn't around in their day, mate, we would have got footage of them doing so much more outrageous stuff. Oh my days, if social media was around in their days, them lot need to count themselves lucky there were no smartphones and mobile phones, because some of the outrageous shit we would have caught them doing on camera would have bloody ruined all their careers in modern day football. So don't even talk about professionalism. And as you've said then about Jesse, the man goes out of his way to speak to fans and meet fans. How is that a problem? Get a grip. I completely understand criticising players' performances, but certainly in terms of effort, that is not something you can be criticising Jesse Lingard for. Totally not.
Jemba, what do you think of that one?
The Jemba twins.
What's even happened with Jemba?
I don't know.
What's happening with Jemba? Someone find out for us what's happening with Jemba. Let us know in the comments. That's what we're looking for. Bebe. Oh, people keep saying Paul Ince, mate.
I'd get Gordon Ramsay in.
Set if you keep saying that.
I'd get Gordon Ramsay in.
Gordon Ramsay in. Bloody hell.
He'd sort it out though, wouldn't he? Ed Woodward, the Glazer. Your shit.
Pogba would be out the door in tears within a minute. Pogba will be back to Juventus within a minute, man.
Not a chance.
Maradona, mate. I'm not too sure. Maradona. Imagine Maradona.
Oh no. That would be. Let's
just say. I think he'll be held up at security every game at Old Trafford. Let's just leave it at that.
Put it this way: the players wouldn't be lazy anymore, would they? Either.
Definitely not.
They'd have a bit of summit behind them. Someone shouts Hiddink. I mean, that's
Ollie Mers. Ollie Mers. Ollie bloody Mers.
You know, Ollie Mers has got a song out at the minute. You know who it's with?
What?
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I've heard something mental like that. I've heard something
like
crazy.
Snoop Dogg, who's he worked with in the past? Like Dr. Dre, Nate Dogg's the biggest gangster rappers in the world. Now Ollie Mers and Katy Perry.
Oh, there we go. Jemba plays in Indonesia now, boys. Nice one. Indonesia. Bring him over.
He's still playing?
He's still playing.
But honestly, you've got to give credit to the guy. I love players that do that, just like play at a really low level. But the thing is, right, firstly, Beckham's a bit busy, considering he owns a football club. Yeah. Secondly, he doesn't have the brain to run a football club. Does he? Yeah. I love Beckham.
He has the looks, not the brain.
Oh yeah, I love Beckham. Like, he's absolutely an icon in all ways, but he's not a brainy lad. Bless him. Michael Dapper.
Oh, mate.
Make that happen.
Bebe plays for Rio Vallecano.
Oh, these guys with the knowledge.
This season. Why not? Bebe, put him out. He's only had 10 appearances. He'd want to play more. So what's the point?
I remember at the World Cup a couple of years ago now, wasn't it? 4 years ago. And I was chatting to a load of Portuguese fans who were saying that they should have took Bebe to the World Cup in 2014. That's
mad.
Honestly, he had a good season a few years ago, Bebe.
Someone said Tracy Neville. I'd have her over the Neville brothers, to be honest.
I'd have her above Gary, yeah.
Stormzy's still in with a shout. I love that.
Tracy Neville's off her head. She plays netball. Quote from Andy
McGregor.
Tate. We have a quote from Andy Tate. This is what the people have been waiting for. It's finally here.
Happy.
Dun, dun, dun. Breaking news. Andy Tate. I'm happy as chips. That's what Andy has to say about it. That is the opinion we have all been waiting for. Andy Tate is as happy as chips. Right, but this is the thing is, right, and I saw this bubbling last night and I nearly put some on Twitter. I could see people like getting really excited for a potential sacking and whatnot, and I could see people gearing for a big celebration when Jose gets sacked. And people might watch this and see that, you know, we're in good spirits and act like that's us celebrating a manager gets sacked. Absolutely not. And I can tell you, the celebrations would be twice as much if it was the board getting sacked, in my opinion. Like, yes, I think that getting rid of Jose was the right decision, but we're not here celebrating.
I think
it's a show. It shows that you failed. It shows that you have failed in your plan when a manager gets sacked.
I think what I'm actually looking forward to more is actually the fact that we've, like I said, we're making the sensible decisions. We're looking at directors of football. We're looking at slowing things down, looking around what the club needs. That's what you want to see from your board. We've not seen that ever from Manchester United's board. Hopefully now this is a step up in what's happening at Manchester United.
I really do. It's just nice to see us actually planning something for once, man. Not just getting rid of these managers just like at the end of the season when we've not even thought about who we're going to bring in to replace them. Now we can actually bring someone in, and in the background, hopefully it's someone who actually knows what they're bloody talking about when it comes to football. I hope maybe they're getting consulted by, you know, people at the club, you know, your Ferguson, your Charltons. And hopefully they're actually making a decision, an informed decision, and hopefully we have a short list of managers that we can actually interview, find out what they're going to bring to the club and make a decision based on that, rather than just finding whoever's available. Because it's like the two that jump out as Zidane and Poch, and I would personally think that Poch would be a good decision. I might be completely wrong about that. I want to see us go out and talk to managers.
Stephen Howson's still in the comment. They're still giving us Stephen Howson and Adam McCullough in the comments.
Can you imagine? Could you imagine that if you had Howson and McCullough as joint managers? Mate. What would we be in that system?
I'd still be doing a social media.
To be fair, right? If we can run the Man United social media account, I'll take it.
Mate, our social media account for Manchester United would absolutely bang, mate.
Imagine if we lost. Bunch of wankers. With a blue tick. Oh,
mate, have you seen how they've been messing up on social media? Like, the other day they tweeted our home game against Valencia and we were playing away. And like things like that. Like, who is running? Like, the club's such a mess.
Simple
from
stuff.
top to bottom.
Comment there from someone saying, as long as you've got the Glazers, you're not safe. And you're right, mate. I think that in the current football climate, basically what I'm saying there is a time where Alex Ferguson isn't our manager. I think it's going to be very difficult for us to have a sort of a length of consistent success with the Glazers, just because I think that the funding in transfer windows has been bizarre. And it feels so weird that we can budget a ridiculous amount, well, not a ridiculous amount, he was worth it, for Paul Pogba, and we're not willing to do the same for a defender, which we actually need in the summer. And that was obviously because Paul Pogba's a Galactico, he sells loads of shirts, he's a big name on social media. If that was the case for Toby Alderweireld, we would have signed him. We would have signed him in summer. So it's going to be interesting to see what our sort of transfer tactics are going forward, and hopefully a new manager can sort of
Rio Ferdinand
put his foot down.
Rio.
I'd like Rio. Did you see that video he did the other day where he was like, come on, dead positive, 1-1.
I think, to be fair to him, he was saying 1-1 as a prediction, to be fair to him. I don't think he said he wants...
No, that was the point. I thought it was a joke. Was it not a joke?
I don't know.
I watched it as a joke and I found it funny, but I don't know. I thought that he was like taking
You don't know because of how crap we are.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that is genuinely where we're at.
Oh, mate.
Eagle says, why are the Glazers to blame? Just years of underinvestment in the team, dating back to the Ferguson days, the way that the fans have been slowly priced out of the stadium. They've turned Manchester United into a football club to a commercial business. I think some people would say it's been downhill since we got rid of football club off the badge. That was after the '99 season, I think, wasn't it? So, but yeah, mate, Glazers. Nah, they bought the club in an illegal way, in my opinion. They bought the club on borrowed money, and since then have been using it to pay off their own debt. They're out for themselves. they're using our club
Yep.
for money. That's dead simple. That's all you need to know, really.
Give Moyes the chance to redeem himself. So pull Moyes back.
I'm not even going to comment.
Pull Moyes
I'm
back.
not even
Get
gonna
Adnan
comment.
Januzaj back in the team. Let's have it. Pull Robin van Persie back as well.
You know what's
Let's
mad?
have a bit of that.
It's mad that like if Moyes came back, it would be a reunion with Fellaini. I can't believe he signed Fellaini.
Oh, mate.
It's mad, innit?
Oh, you know what?
Isn't it
You know what would
mad?
be beautiful? Fellaini leaves in January.
Oh, mate, that would be a
Just
celebration. I think it goes Glazers, Woodward, Mourinho, Fellaini. Like, that is how toxic our club is from bottom to top there. Yeah, Phil Jones. Oh, no. No. Gareth Southgate, a lot of people saying, like I say.
Ranieri has
he's a
already
bit
been
busy.
hired by Fulham. I don't think you're going to see him move again. Although, that might have been a good one for 6 months. Yeah,
It would have been funny, wouldn't it?
He would have been hired.
It would have been funny. I'm not sure how quality is. I don't know. He did,
Well, it's
he
one
did
of the
what he did
6
at
months
Leicester,
ones that
didn't
we
he?
said with Blanc. He's a manager. He's managed teams. Even though I'm not a fan, still have him in for 6 months.
Is that right? I actually think that might be right. What
Oh,
Finlay
yeah, I
Jack
think
has
it is,
put.
yeah.
Moyes has 6 months left on his United contract.
Get him back in. Give us 6 months of Moisey. Go on, lads.
Imagine where we'd finish in the league if we had 6 months of Moyes.
Van Basten. Start Mason Greenwood. I'm all for that. Mason Greenwood.
Someone said, if the board gets sacked, how would the club continue being a club? No, I don't think you understand how businesses are run, mate.
Yeah.
Like, someone would buy them out, there'd be a different board. Although saying that, there are certain rumours about certain
Someone say,
regimes
get
coming
Abdul
in.
in. Get me in. Why not? I think
Would
I'd
you
run the
take it?
club pretty well.
Would you take it?
Yeah, I'd take it. Definitely take it. I'd play 4-3-1-2. Jesse Marcus and Martial as your front three. Get a bit of Pogba in there. Herrera and DM doing all the dirty work. Maybe Pereira or Fred in there as well. Get Koulibaly in, play
It's a
him
good
alongside
thought,
Bailly.
actually. Like, which players would you get more involved in if you were
Mate,
actually
this is
United,
gonna
mate?
change.
You know what it is, right? You know what
Oh.
it is? Because when we do our previews, about years ago, a couple of years ago, we used to read out our team as if that's the team we'd want to play.
Yeah.
Now we try and predict Jose Mourinho's
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
So I've not actually thought about what I would do with my Man United team, funnily enough. But imagine that: Lingard, Rashford, Martial behind
much
Lukaku,
movement,
something like
energy.
that. I think, you know what? I think I'd have Martial up front, Lingard, Rashford, and Mata playing behind him.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
like Mata
movement,
in the
that's
hole. I'd like
I
Mata.
think
in the hole.
Herrera Pogba can play as like your holding midfielders when you're playing against more sides in the league. I'm not saying to turn up against like Spurs and that, or Liverpool and City and play with them. I'm just saying when you got like a Wolves at home, Fulham, they're good enough. We've seen them do it when we're like 4-0 FC and see Matic Pogba or Herrera Pogba. And Pogba was scoring goals and getting assists, but there was movement ahead of him with Jesse Lingard and Mkhitaryan at the time and that. I think we don't really need to always look at having that defensive mindset, and I think that needs to be taken away. And I think that's where if you get an established centre-half in now, it allows someone like Herrera to do the dirty work, and it'll be enough for Pogba to sit there in front of them.
I do still think, and there's a lot of players in this boat. I do still think we have a lot players who I don't want to say they're average, because that sounds. Right, the best way I can put it, players like Chris Smalling. Let's say Chris Smalling, right? It's going to sound mad, but Chris Smalling is the type of player that wins you a Premier League. Or he's the type of player who's involved in a Premier League winning squad.
You can only have one or two of them in the side. I always say that.
You compare him to someone like Wes Brown or something in the past, who used to come into the defence when he was needed.
Wes Brown like that.
No, I know. Sorry, Wes Brown was. No, Wes Brown was.
Well, I get what you're saying.
Wes Brown was also better than Chris Smalling. Putting that.
But I get what you're saying. I do get what you're
saying. Like players
saying.
like Park Ji-sung, like in terms of quality, Jesse Lingard, Park Ji-sung, I'd probably put around the same mark. But they're the players that win you Premier League titles because
some of them can start every week.
They're squad players.
And some of them would start every week and they wouldn't have a huge effect in terms of like you started not doing well. There'd still be a drive in the side like you had with Park Ji-sung in so many big games.
Yeah.
Well, you trust him in a big game.
And you know what? I think it's unfair me saying that actually there about Jesse Lingard, saying that he's a squad player. I don't mean it like he's not as good as other players in the team. I mean that tactically you use him in certain games and tactically you don't use him in certain games.
Football.
And that's what our problem is. That's football. It seems simple, but we've not been doing it.
Yeah, true, man. He's like I said, unfortunately, we're not getting. Someone's just listing the players I want to see: Pogba, Fred, Pereira, Martial, Rashford, Delo, Sanchez, Bailly, Shaw consistently. Yeah, man, you got to play your best players consistently and see how it goes. Do you think Sanchez has a chance of coming back into the side?
Oh, it's interesting.
It's a bit horrible because I do actually feel for him. I feel for him because I think it's gone all wrong for him. I don't know. I think he might find his way back in the side, but does he start? And I think he'll be happy. He won't be happy if he's not starting. And I'd rather see Marcus Martial, Jesse in behind, or Mata in the mix. I think that system plays better than Sanchez. I don't see where he fits in.
The problem is with Sanchez is his age, mate. Is he 30 yet, or is he still 29?
PSG are interested.
Yeah, exactly. If we can, and this is going to sound mad, but if we can like get a decent fee for him, I maybe wouldn't be too fussed with letting him go. I think that if we bring in a new manager, though, I definitely think we should give him a run and see how he does. But with him getting to that age, it suggests that if he was a couple of years younger, like you'd play him, you keep playing him, and he'll come good.
The problem is that you have Marcus Martial, Jesse in there as well.
Exactly.
That can take up those positions.
Exactly, yeah. And at that age, we're potentially putting our faith in a player who's gone. Yeah. Unfortunately, whether it be fit, whether it be mentally or physically or anything, but
Elon Musk. No. Noel and Liam Gallagher. No, I'm alright.
I think that I tell you, they're saying that we sound like Noel and Liam Gallagher.
Oh, we do. I don't.
We do not sound like Noel and Liam Gallagher.
They're from Burnage.
From Burnage, mate.
They're not far from where I am. That's why I'm from Withington. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Fair enough. That's where you've got the accent.
Where originally Marcus Rashford's from. Let's just make sure to let everyone
know.
No,
he's not. He's from my ends, mate. He's from Wythenshawe. We're claiming Rashford.
We went to my primary school for a couple of years.
Wythenshawe are claiming Rashford. Right, Abdullah's shooting off. Am I going? No, all right. Abdullah's going somewhere, and I'll continue speaking to you guys. We're all dead busy today. Who knows what's going on? I'm getting you back. Right, it's stuck on his hoodie.
Alright, cheers lads.
Laters, Abdul. Right guys, keep your comments coming in. What do we make of the news today? Obviously massive. Jose Mourinho sacked as Manchester United manager. It's something that I think we all knew was coming at the end of the season. Maybe not yet. It was certainly a surprise to me. My day off today, I thought, oh yeah, I'll have a lie-in, stay up late last night. Got up at 11 o'clock, had about 6 missed calls from producer Chris, like, come in, the people want to talk to you. So, keep your comments coming in and I'll hear what you have to say. I keep you updated as well on the latest on where we're at in terms of news coming out regarding what's going to happen with Manchester United now. This is the best news about the whole thing, I think, for me. Because, it's not necessarily good news that you get rid of a manager. But the good news, I think, now is that we're bringing in a caretaker boss. We're bringing in a caretaker boss for 6 months. While that caretaker boss is in, we're actually going to sit down and think about who the next manager is. We're actually going to plan who the next manager is. We're actually going to plan what our philosophy as a football club is going forward, and we can discuss that with the potential managers that we could bring in. See if their views align with ours. If they do, they get the job. Me personally, I'm not the guy doing the hiring, and for all I know, I could throw a name out here like Pochettino. He could come in for a job interview and he could be completely at odds with what the club's about. But, from the outside in, looking in, I would quite like Pochettino. Now, about a year ago, probably, on this channel, I was like, oh, why would you get him in? He's not won anything. And I do still think that is a concerning part about bringing Pochettino in. However, last 2 managers we brought in were managers that have won everything, and were managers that have won everything consistently as well. So I think our next manager, the criteria has to be, before anything else, someone who's been able to play attacking, attractive football and has a track record of doing it and has never done anything else apart from that. Pochettino is a manager who has always tried to play attacking, attractive, modern football as well. And let's not forget, because he's a young bloke, he understands these players a little bit more. He understands their mindset. He understands the man management of it, which is something Jose got way off. He could not talk to our young players properly. And I just think he just doesn't understand young people, which sounds mad because I swear he's got a daughter that's like a similar age as some of our young players. He's like 20, 21. But it seems like he's just completely at odds with our young players at the minute, which is a shame. Now, Bilal has just got in a comment there, and it's what usually people use to counteract the Pochettino argument. And he's put Pochettino plus a transfer budget would do unbelievable things. Now, some people say that because Poch hasn't necessarily had the money at Spurs, some people use that as an argument for him not getting the United job, because people are like, well, he can't do anything with money. We've never seen him with money. He won't be able to spend it. Yeah, well, this is what Abdullah was saying before about bringing in a director of football. Could you imagine if you had Poch and then you had someone above him making the financial decisions in terms of bringing in players, in terms of properly scouting them, not just bringing in commercial deals every week, but bringing in actual footballers who are going to actually improve the football team as well. That sounds like something a 6-year-old could come up with, doesn't it? But it's something we've not done over the last few years. It's ridiculous. More comments then getting in. Al says Zidane for manager. I mean, like he's won it, hasn't he? He's won the Champions League 3 times now. It's that in itself does speak for itself. And I know that I said before, oh well, he walked into the Madrid job. It's not hard to win it. It is hard to win it with those players. And we have players in our team who are that sort of level as well. And we certainly should have been performing way above where we're at right now in the table. Let's see what some other people are commenting then. Avisek says, I am devastated, LFC fan. That's a Liverpool fan watching Man United channel. Get a life, mate, get a life. Maturo says, whack him low for 6 months. Potentially, but it looks like at the minute it's going to be Laurent Blanc. Producer Chris has just whacked his head on the light for the 7th time today. Right, guys, this is the official club statement. For anyone who's just joining us, wherever you're watching around the world, it's probably the morning somewhere, isn't it? Manchester United announces that manager Jose Mourinho has left the club with immediate effect. The club would like to thank Jose for his work during his time at Manchester United and to wish him success in the future. A new caretaker manager will be appointed until the end of the current season, while the club conducts a thorough recruitment process for a new full-time manager. And also one thing to say about Jose. He's been our most successful manager since Alex Ferguson retired. Like people obviously at the minute feel quite negatively towards him, but the Europa League was bloody fun, wasn't it? I mean, I am one of those people who at the time was like, I'm not that arsed, to be honest. The Europa League, we're better than that, because I do think that, you know, our standards should be higher than just winning the Europa League. But it was a trophy that we hadn't won, and it completed the set. So I guess we can thank Jose for that. And I think there are things to thank Jose for, just like there are things that we could have thanked Louis van Gaal for. I'll be totally honest, I can't think of a single thing that we can thank David Moyes for. What can we thank David Moyes for? Mata. We can thank Moyes for Mata. That's it. Right, we can thank Moyes for Mata. We can thank Van Gaal for a few of the young players that got through, particularly Marcus Rashford. We can thank Mourinho for the Europa League and Paul Pogba. That's what we can do. And then hopefully the next manager that comes in can actually do something with these bloody things. We've got great things happening at the club. We've got great things at the club, and I know also, right, I hate mentioning this because it's not about Paul Pogba, and it's not, but we need to mention it because I am properly annoyed at the reaction that's been coming out about a social media post by Paul Pogba. So he put on Twitter this picture of him where he's doing like a funny face. He's got his eyebrow raised like that, and it says, caption this, hashtag here to create at Adidas Football. Now that went out after the news came out about Jose Mourinho getting sacked. Obviously, it's quite natural when you see that to put 2 and 2 together and think that he's talking about Jose Mourinho. Like, caption this, and he's just doing it for attention. That is what a lot of people have come out and instantly said. However, that isn't the case. That is not the case, guys. And I don't know whether this is just like me doing a bit of social media and work and stuff like that, who knows more about this, but it's a scheduled post. It was a scheduled sponsored post by his sponsor, Adidas. That's why the @ was included in the tweet, at Adidas Football, and including the hashtag, the strapline as well, the here to create slogan. Like, Paul Pogba isn't going to put that. That was a scheduled post done as a promotion for a sponsorship. It went out. Whoever it was in Paul Pogba's team that scheduled it just forgot about it, didn't realise it. They were probably too bloody caught up in the Mourinho news because no one saw it coming today. And it has since been taken down, but it did take quite a bit too much time to get taken down. I think it took like 40 minutes after the announcement. So yeah, I agree that it was careless on the part of Paul Pogba's team. However, it probably wasn't even him that put the bloody tweet, and it was scheduled. So please, if you're just going to attack Paul Pogba for that, just stop it. Just, you know. stop finding a reason to have a go at him. Today isn't about him, but I'm here defending him because I have to, because there's morons on the internet who can't understand something once it's explained to them. It's explained to you now you know, no excuses. Right, let's look at elsewhere on the internet and some positivity coming from social media. This post is from a man that me and Abdullah would love to get the job for 6 months, but he's not going to. Patrice Evra, he's put this on Twitter. He said, the thing that is annoying me the most right now is why are people so focused on Paul Pogba and Jose Mourinho? This is what I was just saying. He says, let's focus on rebuilding something solid instead of being in a playground. Doing this is only disrespecting the badge. From now on, we only need positivity. Absolutely spot on, mate. And I'm not sure if that's Evra almost having a go slightly at Pogba and Jose Mourinho, or he's just having a go at people talking about them. But he's exactly right. Manchester United are more important than Paul Pogba and Jose Mourinho, believe it or not. And we've obviously, one of them's already left the club. If Pogba were to leave the club, you know, he's already left once, ta-ra, if he wants to go. But I honestly think that suggestions about Paul Pogba's attitude are a little bit off the mark, I think, what some people say. And I don't necessarily think he's got a bad an attitude as is said. I think there may be some leaks coming out in the next few days with some negative stories about Paul Pogba. And I think we should all just weigh them up, the stories, and take them each as they come and actually think after we've read them, not react to a headline, but actually read them and come up with our own informed opinion, I think. Because like I say, I think that a few stories could be coming in the next few days about Paul Pogba, leaked stories from Jose, if he is going to be that bitter about the whole thing. And I tell you what, Jose Mourinho, not only as a manager, but as a man, and this is going to sound weird, people will be like, oh, you're chatting shit, but I've always liked him. I've always admired him, genuinely. I've always admired the way that he's a serial winner who never gives up. But this season has shown what happens when he doesn't get his own way. And it's toys out the pram. It's throwing other players under the bus. Talented young players who are going to be at United much longer than him as well. And the guy had to go, I'm afraid. The guy had to go. Uwemi says, for sure, a curse of insulting the great Arsene Wenger. I mean, that would have made more sense if he didn't win a league title after he insulted Wenger, mate. You know what I mean? And it would have made more sense if Wenger actually won something himself after he said that. But he didn't, did he? I'm getting a few more comments from you guys now. I'm just reading a few of the comments from what people are saying. Bakal Rani said, nah, Pogba was the one that sacked Mourinho. I think that Mourinho turned himself against a few of the players as well. And Alex Hardman says, third season syndrome, it's happened again and again. Exactly. And we are, of course, looking for positivity as well, and maybe a bit of reflection. And what was your favourite Jose Mourinho moment? It's hard not to look past winning the Europa League, isn't it, really? Especially because he didn't necessarily do too great in the big games. And I don't want to be that guy who comes out and says, I mean, against the big team, should I say, sorry, in the league, against the big six. And I'm not going to say City away last year as my favourite Mourinho memory. I'm not saying that. But it is pure. But it is purely because we stopped him winning the league. But I know how bitter that makes me sound. But I'm sorry, if those sods won the league against us, we'd have never heard the end of it. And they didn't. They just won, what was it? Like the 4th, 5th league title. I think it took Huddersfield. Not that arsed. Mo Ali kicking the bottle. Gaz, the BBC reported the Pogba caption story as related to the sacking. Hawkeye, I know, you're completely right. Maybe the BBC are doing it. Sky Sports were definitely doing it. They were reporting that Paul Pogba post as if it was direct reaction to Jose Mourinho going. Presumably because the stories are done by people who have no bloody clue how social media works. But they're not. They're done by people who work in social media for a living. So that suggests there's an agenda and people know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I mean, I'm just saying it makes you ask why do they want to go for him so much? I don't know. I wonder. Indie Red says Casey Stoney as United as manager of the men's team. Let's make that happen. That would be fun, wouldn't it, for 6 months? Why not? Why not? Like I say, it's all about just bringing a positive vibe in it for this 6 months. But I think that the most likely candidate now is what Sky Sports have come out and said, where they have mentioned that Laurent Blanc is the favourite to get it. Kevin, Gaz, now that Mourinho's got the sack, do you think Martial will get a long-term extension? I think things like that, Martial, De Gea, long-term extensions, those things will very much be put on hold now and find out what the next manager does. But the next manager, unless he's an idiot, is going to do everything he can to get De Gea and Martial to sign another contract. Honestly, common sense manager. Karthik's in the comment says, looks like it's going to be Ollie or Blanc, Gaz. Do we have some stories about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do we have a story about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Potentially. But the story at the minute about Laurent Blanc is on Sky Sports News that he will be coming in for 6 months as the caretaker boss. Now, the story... Now, the report that came out as well recently was that the caretaker manager is going to be someone steeped in the history of the club. Now, Simon Stone, the football reporter for BBC Sport, has just tweeted this in the last 10 minutes. I'm told that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under consideration as caretaker at Old Trafford. It doesn't mean it will be him, but he ticks all the boxes, apart from being employed, of course. Oh, guys. What you've just seen then was a genuine reaction of just me filling up with joy at the idea of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer leading Manchester United out onto the Old Trafford pitch just for 6 months. Because, it would be brilliant. And that's not me saying, let's give him the job because, we saw what happened at Cardiff. He's not done enough as a manager. He's nowhere near the level to take on the Manchester United job permanently. And it would tarnish his reputation. However, at the minute, we are just looking at the next 6 months, a manager to come in a manager who's not going to have a problem with that either as well. A manager who's not going to get to above his station. A manager who's not going to be like, after 6 months, like, no, actually, I deserve this permanently. A manager who's going to be okay with finishing it after that and maybe even continuing on a role at the club at the minute. I mean, Solskjaer, obviously, he's been around in management for a very long time now, and I don't think he'd be wanting to step down as a manager, no matter what the role was at Man United. But 6 months of pure positivity, pure happiness, pure bloody attacking football. I'll tell you what, you'll get that for nothing. And you're going to get a bloke, like the report's been saying, steeped in the history of the club, a bloke he's one of our biggest legends. He's one of our biggest legends. And also, I'll say this about Solskjaer, by the way, and people will hate me saying this. Nowhere near one of our best players, but definitely one of our biggest legends. What a geezer. I'd love him to come in. Purely to hear him talking press conferences as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has that amazing accent that certain people have, that when they come to Manchester to work and live here for a few years when they come as a young person. And then they gradually pick up the language of a Mancunian twang. That's what Ollie's got. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's voice. I think it's brilliant. So, Simon Stone, reporter for the BBC, saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under consideration for Manchester United caretaker manager for the next 6 months. Guys, comments. Get him in. Straight away, Oswald with my favourite comment so far today. Ole's going to sub himself on. That's actually what's going to happen, mate. You're losing a game, get Solskjaer on. You're guaranteed a goal. Gary Bennett says, get attacking football, Moyes. Oh, right, sorry, that was a response to what I was asking. Tommy Sue says, Fergie to be back for 6 months. Mate, that's not, he's been ill recently. Give the guy a break. Come on, wouldn't want to put him through that. Keith says, Blanc as caretaker, then director of football. I mean, there were rumours, weren't there, about a year ago, I think, about Blanc being director of football. So maybe that could potentially happen. Cam Riot says, please not Ollie. Why would you have a problem with it? That's what I don't understand. Why would you have a problem with that? We're talking a 6-month caretaker manager. This season is a write-off. Nothing is happening this season. We have nothing to lose. If anything, if we're not going to get top 4 this season, we might as well finish 10th because I don't want us to be in the Europa League next year. I want a new manager to just have a crack at the Premier League. We've got 6 months with nothing to lose. Why would you not want one of the club's biggest legends at your Man United for 6 months. How can you not want to be like at Old Trafford seeing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer leading the team out? How can you not want that? Can you imagine the atmosphere? I mean, I tell you what, we've asked for years. We've asked for years that we're going to bring the atmosphere back at Old Trafford. Getting a legend like that in as caretaker manager. You see, now I wasn't there when Giggs was manager. I didn't get to attend one of those, what was it, like 2-3 games that Giggs was manager? I didn't get to attend one of them because it was that season where it was either going to be City or Liverpool to win the league. So I went on holiday and didn't take my phone. It's a genuine thing that happened. So I don't even know what the atmosphere was like for then, but I'd like to see it with Ollie. Angry Phil Mitchell. I don't think that's actually Angry Phil Mitchell. He says Teddy Sheringham. Anything could happen at this point. Aquila says, it's not a write-off. Still in Europe and technically can qualify for next year. We're not winning the Champions League. Farhan, Louis van Gaal's Red and White Army. And someone's commented saying, Man United is not a club to experiment with. Yeah, but that's not what we're saying. That's the opposite, in fact, of what we're saying. A caretaker manager comes in for 6 months. That's not an experiment. While he's here, we actually plan who the next manager is going to be. We go out and we interview candidates. We have a shortlist down. We speak to people. We actually find out their philosophy, whether it aligns with the club's philosophy. We plan this thing out. It's completely the opposite of an experiment. It's an actual planned move. I'm just reading what some people are saying in the comments. That's a very good point that someone's just mentioned there, saying Chelsea howls their way to the Champions League in 2012 after changing the manager. Very interesting point. Because I remember when that happened, I remember seeing like Di Matteo and him screaming like, I did it, I won it. And I remember me thinking like, you didn't really though, did you? You didn't really. That's actually a good point. No, you know, I'm not getting the idea that we're winning the Champions League in my head. We're not doing that because that ain't going to happen. Asimo Taibi in. I like it. Let's get Anderson. Let's get Anderson in. Give Anderson the job. That's what I say. Rumours of Paul Mitchell, of our new director of football, apparently from RB Leipzig. You're going to have to tell me more about him. And Dubsy saying Neville is such a child, retweeting stuff about Pogba. Well, this is the thing. I reckon Gary Neville and, you know, a lot of the other pundits, no doubt, have come out over the last, since social media has been a thing and they've been pundits, they've probably been coming out saying, careful what you put on social media. Footballers, they need to be careful what they put on social media. They need to think. And then Gary Neville put some reactionary shit just today. He's been putting it all day as well about Paul Pogba and that post that he put up this morning. I was talking about this morning. Paul Pogba, a sponsored post went out on his Twitter account, which was obviously scheduled, and it looked like it was a reaction to Jose Mourinho being sacked. It wasn't. It felt like common sense that it wasn't, because he included the Adidas hashtag, which was like their slogan, here to create for their marketing campaign, making it obvious it's a sponsorship, but obviously not for your dars on Twitter like Gary Neville, who don't understand social media despite being on it for so many years. And he's just being dead reactionary and having a go at Paul Pogba. Don't have a clue what he's on about. Don't get him anywhere near the club. Do not do it. The man is quite clearly toxic. The man doesn't give a toss what happens to Manchester United, I don't think, sometimes. No, he does, Gary Neville. He does, Gary Neville. But sometimes I just get a bit annoyed when Paul Scholes and Neville come out and say stuff about United, because it feels like they're only saying it because the mate Giggs didn't get the job. And no doubt Gary Neville's probably hearing today, phoning up Giggsy. Are you getting the job? Are you getting the job? No, I'm not. So now he's going to go on some Twitter tirade against the club, probably. About right? Maybe this is me being so tinfoil hat, but I don't know. See what more people are saying in the comments then. Mikel Arteta. Nah, I don't think that one's going on. And Phil says, Mourinho sacking will not fix the club. Mate, it's one of many problems at the club right now. Problems that stem from the top, from the ownership to Ed Woodward to the manager. It needs an absolute genius as manager of the club. A genius who's actually given full control as well, which obviously you can imagine Ferguson was in some aspects, in most aspects. to actually be able to boss Woodward about as well, because Woodward needs telling. Hannah says, Theresa May in. Hey, now that's someone who knows how to cling on to a job. She knows how to cling on to a job better than Jose Mourinho. That was actually a debate we were having recently, who's going to get sacked first, Theresa May or Jose Mourinho. I can't believe Mourinho beat her. Unbelievable. How are you doing, mate? You back?
I'm all right, yeah.
Abdullah on the stream has been reacting with you all today before I came as well.
It's all going really fast.
It is, isn't it?
Because we're on here. We've not had, like you said earlier, we've not had the chance to like look into everything and that.
Yeah.
But it's just going all crazy. Like, I'm glad I had the day off.
Yeah.
Because now I could just sit here, talk football.
That's it.
Talk that Mourinho's gone. But what have you had any of the wild ones in the comments?
No, not really wild ones, mate. I think that a lot of people have been reacting to some of the news coming out. I don't know whether you saw news came out just before then. Was it from the BBC reporter? Simon Stone, was it? Yeah, Simon Stone from the BBC. He said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under consideration for it.
All right. So
mate,
it might be the one then.
You're not buzzing about that?
It might be the one, yeah.
Mate,
Ole, why not?
I was proper
6
buzzing
months
at
of
that.
Ole, why not, man?
That's it. 6 months of Ole.
Lukaku might pick something back up off him.
Mate, if we're talking about
score
poaching,
30 goals next
talking
season.
about purely
not?
scoring goals, purely bagging it. People in the comments saying that he's going to sub himself on at the end though.
Oh, brilliant. We do need him right now. To be honest, probably is a better option than Lukaku these days.
Mate, I was saying just how much I'd love it, mate. It would be brilliant. Yeah. It would be brilliant 6 months of Ole. Nazrari says, I'm the happiest creature in the whole world. Mate, I feel like people are still getting a bit too buzzing though. Yeah. It's not... to
be honest, it depends how you look at it. With me, the reason I'm buzzing with it is, mate, the mood right now is so down at the club and something needed to change. And it had to be, one of them had to be Mourinho without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. The other problem is, obviously, you got to look at the direction of the club that was going in. We don't feel like there's a structure being set in place. And then when you hear things, the director of football, we've been hearing talks, and it said that bringing in a director of football would have caused a problem with Mourinho on the board. That could have been one of the big reasons that a bigger fallout has happened since we heard it around the Liverpool game. So if a director of football comes in, if we're restructuring the club and we bring someone in for 6 months, and then in the summer we hire someone, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear the club taking those steps, not just smashing someone in mid-season and then just hoping for the best. I want to see that the club is actually looking at what the best options are for the club going forward, and that's why I'm happy right now.
That's exactly it, mate. That's exactly it. It's just nice to see us actually planning something for once.
Yeah.
Tate McTate, I'm going to sneeze, mate, so you carry on.
Yeah.
It's bubbling. It's bubbling. No, it's gone. It's gone. It's fine. He says, Harry Redknapp, King of the Jungle in.
King of the Jungle, why not? Like I said earlier, it's easier to win the Prem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's easier to win the Prem than it is to celebrate. Hugh Roberts, though, with an interesting comment. Lads, does this affect our ability to make signings in January? How do you think it does affect it? Because,
see, this is my problem. If you had Mourinho around and he was, regardless of him winning the Champions League or whatever happens, Mourinho would have gone, in my opinion, in the summer.
Yeah.
Whether we get relegated, wins the Champions League, whatever happens, he's gone.
Nah, if we won the Champions League, he would have stayed. He wasn't going to win it.
I'm not too sure. I think this was always going to be his last season, regardless. Okay. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. So I think that would have affected who we got in January. And that's why director of football is important, because we're hearing that he comes in now. If he comes in now, he's already planning ahead. It might even be having some of the decision on what the manager is, the next manager. Yeah. It's important to have someone who understands how clubs run. You got to look at Juventus. I mean, they do so well from the top in terms of their recruitment and the right players at the right time. You know, getting in Matuidi for like 14 million, important player for the side now. Getting in someone like Dybala in this market. I mean, it was like 4 years ago, but in this market for 20 million, a brilliant player. They understand who to buy, when to buy, the right time. They got Ronaldo in the summer. Even their marketing and everything around the club right now is run properly, and that's how a top club is run. And that all stems from the top of the club, the directors of football, the board, and I think that's what you got to structure and fix first.
I can imagine though now in January, I can't imagine an awful lot happening for us in terms of players.
I think we might get a defender in, because we clearly need a centre half. I think we need an actual. If we get a defender in, it'd have to be like a world class centre half, like a Koulibaly or someone who's proven that he's one of the best in Europe now. If not, then I don't see much changing, because you can still get more of our attacking players.
I just can't imagine being a footballer and turning up at United where they've got a caretaker boss in for the next 6 months. They've next 5 months, what it'll be. They've not decided on who the next manager will be.
Yeah.
They've not got a director of football. They've just come off the back of sacking the manager. That this position in the league, I can't imagine many top players actually look at Man United and would want to come in January.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know people will say, oh, but the club itself is a pull for enough players. But I think the situation that it's in, they're going to want to wait till the summer and see what happens. Because if we show for the rest of this season, in like March, April, we announce who our next manager is going to be, they can start planning for the season and they can start speaking to these players saying...
A couple of comments there. So someone said, think Juventus' director's going to Inter Milan. Yeah, that's correct. That would have been a good option to have because of the work he's done. There's another one said, we don't need any more attackers. I fully agree with that, especially over January. I wouldn't make any attacking signings.
Oh, no.
I think you can make something happen with what we've got going forward. I think you need to build a structure in midfield. Smalling and Phil Jones out. I'm with you on that one, Shal.
Why are loads of people commenting the fake taxi guy?
I don't know. Do one of us look like him or something?
I'm just thinking. I don't think I've ever looked at his face, funnily enough.
Andy Tate's 450 to 1. Stick your money on Andy Tate, lads. You heard it here first.
I do think there is a betting company offering odds on Andy Tate.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Listen, no wonder Andy Tate's not here, mate. He's over at Old Trafford having some talks. That's what's going on.
Oh, mate.
That's why Andy's not on.
We created a monster.
He's got bigger priorities. He's got bigger fish to fry this morning.
Oh, God. The best Christmas ever, people are saying. I mean, at least it gives us something to be positive about over Christmas.
Yeah.
Not that, by the way, when I'm talking about being positive, I'm not positive that a manager's got sacked. I'm positive about what could potentially happen next. And the idea of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being here for 6 months is something which puts a big smile on my face.
Yeah. Apparently someone said it's me.
Do you?
I don't. You can't even see his face.
Isn't he a white guy?
Yeah, I can't even see his face. Is it the way he talks? I don't talk that
It's
way.
like a...
Can you stop calling me that? Is it the jeans? What is it? Phil Mitchell's a good one. I think that one's beat Stormzy.
Amazing.
Oh, brilliant stuff.
Mark Hughes, a lot of people still commenting. Can we stop the Mark? Can we just block the words Mark and Hughes, please, Chris? I don't want to see
I can't stand him. It's like him and Paulin. It's like them.
I don't want to see Mark Hughes again. Please, no.
I'm all for Andy Tate. That's all I'm here for.
I think that a few people are saying no to racism there because someone's bringing up Big Ron. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not. Abdi says, cheers for 400 million United fans. Mate, I just think there's... I just don't feel right us celebrating and Beatles being buzzing because there's so many bigger problems at the club.
Bring fake taxi. What is this? Where
you look like the fake taxi guy, I think.
Where is this come from,
I've never
guys?
looked at the fake taxi guy's face, right? But
I swear it's always blurred out. It's a great movie, isn't it? I just forgot that we're live. It's a great movie, isn't it? Abdullah Galeo for manager. Thank you for using my full name. First time I've seen that in the comments. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, you know why that is, don't you? No one's brave enough to attempt it. That's what it is.
Mate, you know what's been right now? I was calling up the radio, yeah? And like, the guy got my second name on point, like in English. I was buzzing, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, you said it better than I can say it.
It means a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Shall I have a go?
Yeah,
I don't want to have a go now. Galeo.
Galeo's not bad. Yeah, Galeo's not bad.
You know, I remember it's similar to Galileo.
Yeah.
Galileo.
There's people that call me Galloway and that.
Oh, right, Galloway. That's just taking the mick, though, that, isn't it? Yeah. Come on. Bloody hell. Keane, people shouting. I'm sorry, Roy Keane, no, not a chance. We are going to read out the club statement to you again, the official club statement that they released this morning. Manchester United announces that manager Jose Mourinho has left the club with immediate effect. The club would like to thank Jose for his work during his time at Manchester United and to wish him success in the future. A new caretaker manager will be appointed until the end of the current season, while the club conducts a thorough recruitment process for a new full-time manager. And that last sentence in that is the best bit about the whole thing, isn't it? I mean, that instant reaction for me was that it's good to see that we're taking our time and deciding a new manager.
100%. That's what's getting me excited. And then I think that we're actually taking a step back, looking at what the club needs right now and actually looking at the right recruitment that needs to come in and studying what United need right now. I think that's what's important for us.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. By the way, next time we do that club statement, we should do one word after the other, like Run DMC.
Oh,
Let's make it happen. Right, guys, in the comments, what you all saying? Wenger in. Stop it.
Southgate.
Stop it.
I don't know what Southgate's doing actually for England. I think he's underrated, and I think he's actually trying to build a structure and a system at England. So I do like what he's doing there.
Gareth Southgate doing so much as well, not just for England, but for the whole country as well. He's changing the conversation when it comes to sport. Love that guy, love him. But he's not going to be coming.
My number one is still Tyson Fury. Mate, Tyson Fury, mate. I would actually love Tyson Fury as United manager, just for the bants. Why not? I just want to hear him at every press conference. Imagine
us losing and Tyson Fury coming out.
He'd be like trying to hit people in the tunnel. Like, he'd be just waiting for the City players there. Like, come on, let's have it.
22 commented saying, "Put football club back on the badge." I know it sounds like daft, right? But when we got rid of football club off the badge, that was a big thing, a big meaningful thing, and it did show that Manchester United were turning from a football club into a corporation. I'd love that. I'd love for us to put that back on the badge, but it won't happen.
Joe McGraw wants me to go with him and have some wings tomorrow. Why are you not here, mate?
Was it? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I just messaged him. I said,
what's he doing?
Come on.
Why, hang on a minute. He's not texting me asking me if I want any wings. I've not got a text off him. Absolutely outrageous and fuming.
I think I was texting him about how I'm doing Devils now, and I was like, "Oh, Mourinho's been sacked and that." So obviously, I had to bring up wings. We've been planning to have wings for like a month.
Is it one of them that you keep putting? Yeah, that.
But yeah, I do want some chicken wings tomorrow. Why not? Hopefully celebrating Tyson Fury getting hired by Manchester United.
Me and Webby are on the football social, by the way, tonight on XS Manchester. So
that's going to be a big one.
Yeah,
that's going to be a big one.
It's good. Well, it wasn't meant to be a United show, I don't think, tonight. And I think
Joe, it is turning very.
Yeah. Joe called me up before. He was like, let's make that happen. So
it'll have to happen.
We're doing that tonight. I don't know whether we're streaming it on the channel yet, but hopefully we can find a way to. If not, I can plug them while Chris isn't watching. Go and get the XS Manchester app, and then you can listen to them on that. So go and do that. Eddie Howe would be a great choice. I don't know, mate. I don't know Eddie Howe. I just don't think he's at
I like Eddie Howe.
Yeah. But like
I like the system he plays. It's like I said, I want something long term.
Yeah, and as we've both said, the criteria does have to be playing a good system of 100%. Football. Absolutely. Gary Neville, get him in. He knows everything about everything. He definitely bloody doesn't, mate. After we've already established today his lunacy on Twitter. I've just been having a go at him again before,
Mate, I don't like our ex-players.
Sometimes
some of the things they come out with. Like, just shut up. Like, I don't want you near the club.
You just don't understand.
They act like fans all the time, but they cause divide.
Yeah, I know.
In a moment like that.
I know.
The Paul Pogba thing, without understanding what's happened.
I know.
They all just want to push their agendas. They just want to push their mates to the job, and I think that's seriously happening. I think they'd love to have Giggsy in the job, and I don't think that they'd love to have him for the right reasons. Unfortunately, I think that's how it is.
They'd like a Salford City setup at United.
Yeah. Thinking of it, like the whole romance of having like them guys at the top, like it'd be nice, but I just don't like the comments that they come out with. You're meant to be supporting the players. They talk as fans, but if you got to remember, like before the derby, when Pogba scored 2 goals and like just everyone hammering him and no one giving him a chance, and like give the lad a break. He's not a horrible person, is he? Like, you see so many horrible players get away with things, and Paul Pogba gets dug out every time.
Actual players who are actually nasty bastards, and players that we've seen doing. I was thinking this morning, right? I was thinking like, you don't like Paul Pogba posting on social media, right? Now, if he's posting stuff directly after the day we lose Liverpool, I understand people justifying it and saying that they don't like that sort of thing. Personally, I don't have a freaking problem with it. I genuinely don't care. He can do whatever he wants. But what has Paul Pogba shown in his personality to suggest that he's not hardworking?
That's what I don't get. No one knows about what's happening inside.
Like
Get it. Why is everyone taught like they know everything? Oh, he doesn't work hard, doesn't do that, he's lazy. And I think Mourinho's actually turned a lot of people onto Paul Pogba. I think that's what's happened. I think he's succeeded in doing that.
I think there's a middle ground with everything, mate. He's at fault for his performances on the pitch.
Yeah. I've said that there is a middle ground for everything. Unfortunately, there's not many fans in that. No. Like right in the middle.
Or it doesn't feel. All right, you know what? Right, we say there's not many fans, but I reckon 90% of people watching this would agree with what you've said there with Paul Pogba he's not good enough on the pitch, and he's not been good enough at United on the pitch. His performances, he's not. You can totally understand and justify criticising him for that. But they'll also, on the other hand, agree that Jose Mourinho has brought a lot of fans against him. But what
tactically doesn't help him. I feel like he sets them up. I said this the other night. I said I feel like some of these players sets them up for failure sometimes. I don't say he's purposely doing it, but you go to Sevilla away, you play Pereira left wing, Mata right wing, Lukaku's your striker, and then you put Fred Pogba, and then he says in his press conference, he says, "Oh, you guys got what you wanted."
Sorry, mate. I'm just going to point out another comment there. Sorry, and this is annoying me because it happens every time we end up talking about Pogba when it's nothing to do with him. But Tom says, no, it's because he's arrogant. What?
How's he arrogant?
What's he done to be arrogant? I don't understand what he's been done to be arrogant, mate.
One of the nicest players I've ever met. Honestly, like he was well sweet when I met him.
I don't get it. What has he done? Has he come out on social media? Can we also say, if anyone wants to be arrogant, he can be arrogant on social media. He could be there with his World Cup medal, posting it every day. You know.
See, this is what I don't get. Yeah, last season, let's look at it like this. When I break it down like this, people don't like it. But start of the season, one of the best players in world football with his performances. When we were 4-0 FC, ripping every team apart, involved in all the goals. He brings on an extra midfielder, Mourinho, actually doing things right, pushing Pogba up front. Into sort of the attacking midfield positions. He was getting the goals, getting involved, gets an injury unfortunately, out for about 2 months, comes back, we play Arsenal, has a fantastic game, does his defensive duties, then he has 2 or 3 bad games, falls out with Mourinho, and now he's awful. He's an awful player.
Yeah.
But realistically, look at it, how many games? Everton away, Stoke at home, he was mint. There's so many games I can name. All the games at the start of the season, the Everton games at home, when we had West Ham over at home. There's games where I can mention where you can see PR classing him.
Yeah.
City away. All these games where you can actually see he's a brilliant player. People need to lay off him, and I think he's been treated unfairly by some of the ex-players that speak about him. And I think some of these players need the chance. Some of the players, yes, they're not good enough, but I definitely want to see Paul Pogba succeed. And I think he's good enough to be a leader in this side. We've seen what he done over the summer with France, leading the club in the dressing room. He wants to be a winner. If he didn't want to be a winner, when Mourinho could have got sacked around that Newcastle game, he wouldn't have come out in the second half and performed like he did and show in this class.
Totally.
So I think we've got to lay off him.
Totally. And what he does on social media is no indication to how he's going to perform on the pitch. Unless he's putting stuff on, like videos of him being a genuine twat, which he's not. His videos have been mucking about with his mates on his birthday. Right, but you know what? Shall we make? I'm all right. I think that you know what? We should make it a Pogba-free zone. I think now because I'm sick of bloody. I'm sick. It's not that I'm sick of talking about him I'm just sick of talking about him in a negative way.
Having to explain to people why he's a good player. Why it's gone wrong.
But hopefully a new manager comes in and gives him a new lease of life, and I think that'll be the same with a lot of those young lads.
Uncle Pat as a manager and a raw chicken as an assistant. I just forgot about that video. Why'd you have to remind me of that? It's a horrible video. Come on, Uncle Pat. I absolutely love him, but you can't be doing that on camera.
Mate, I honestly couldn't work that one out. Did he delete that off Instagram, or did he keep it up? If I remember correctly, he kept it up. He kept it up.
He kept it up, and then he done a vegan one.
Yeah.
I love it. I love when he trigger the vegans. Love it, mate. Chris Smalling could be gone if Uncle Pat comes in, innit?
Was that just because you remind yourself of vegans?
Yeah. Chris Smalling might leave now. Mate, I seen this thing the other day, Chris Smalling went to town and he went to like a vegan Christmas dinner or something.
Yeah, he's vegan though, isn't he?
What are you having for your Christmas dinner? Vegan? Like, I don't have Christmas dinner because I don't celebrate it, but what are you having? What's on your plate? Like, what do you eat?
Just pure sprouts. Just non-stop sprouts.
Oh, mate.
To be fair, no, I'm not going to say that. That makes me seem like a right Tory. I was about to say I had a falafel and hummus wrap yesterday, which was lovely.
It is nice. I've been having loads of them recently. It's next door to my work.
You can live that vegan life.
Yeah, you can.
It's doable.
Falafel every day, mate. It's nice, but not every day.
Imagine what Griezmann would do for the squad. Sanchez out and Griezmann in. I don't think, like we were saying before, we don't need any attacking marquee signings.
Yeah, I think you got to cool it down until the summer, until we've established what the club needs before we make the decisions on what the transfers that need to come in, to be honest.
Think you could have a stuffed parsnip.
And beans.
Got nothing against it. Ronald Koeman. No.
Get out of here.
No.
Get out of here with that.
Don't.
Vote Labour. You're on the wrong stream, mate. You're on the wrong stream.
Just what Gaz is the Tory.
Gaz is hashtag it. Gaz is a Tory, guys. Hashtag it. Tweet me. Tweet Gaz. Tweet Full-Time Devils. Gaz is a Tory. Hashtag Mourinho. Hashtag Pogba's fault. Hashtag the lot, lads.
I'm going for a boobs.
Oh, mate. Chris I is his name. What the hell is that comment? Oh, that's a bad comment.
What did he say? Oh, is it just
another one of those comments?
Too dark.
It's one of them fake taxi comments. Lads. Flipping out. Take them. Where's that come from? Can someone tell me where's this come from? Has this been like in the comments?
Your barber's watching. Chris.
Is he?
Yeah. You said yes, Abdul, it's your barber, Chris.
Oh, yes,
just
Chris.
scrolled up.
Yes, lad. I'll call you next week. I need a cut.
I was going to say, can you sort my barnet out and all, mate? I was like, it might be probably cheaper than mine. Look what you've started now.
Oh, Gaz is a Tory. God, lads, Gaz is a Tory. Hashtag Gaz out. Hashtag Gaz is a Tory. Hashtag Pogba's fault. Hashtag Mourinho out.
All right, no. On a serious note, I am genuinely surprised that Jose Mourinho did beat Theresa May to the sack race. I thought she'd be the first to go. I genuinely did. I'm not a Tory, I'm from Wythenshawe.
He's not.
Don't tell him I live in Altrincham. Alistair says Webby for manager. Oh, mate, fully for that.
I'd love Webby as a manager.
I love Webby as a manager.
He'd actually be mint.
Wouldn't take no shit from Webby, would you? Put it that way. I don't take no shit from Webby now, and he's not my manager for nothing. What about Wenger as the next manager? Right, all right, you know what? Let's talk about this seriously now.
I spoke about this earlier.
Right, what would you do if, let's talk about, hypothetically, you got it, for 6 months, Wenger?
6 months, isn't it?
Oh, no. Could you imagine it, though, the feeling?
What's the point? But imagine he actually succeeds. And then it's just 6 months. Like, he does something mad, does all right, wins like a FA Cup, might get us into top 4 or something mental like that.
Don't.
Hear this. And then he leaves us. Just does that for us. That wouldn't be a laugh.
And then he leaves us. That would be a
laugh in Arsenal fans' face.
Mate, we'd keep him for 6 months. He'd get us top 4.
That's what I'm worried about.
We'd give him another season. He'd get top 4 again. Then we'd give him another one.
Oh, mate. Oh.
And we would become Arsenal. People say we're the new Arsenal. This actually would be the new Arsenal. Like I say, it's not happening.
Gaz, I voted Labour. Or Gaz voted Labour. Did you vote Labour?
I'm not saying that. I'm not allowed to say who I voted for on a stream.
Oh, you're one of them, aren't you? He's one of them. He's like your teacher. You come in the next day after everyone's voted and they're like, who'd you vote for? And I'm like, I can't say it.
All right, vote Labour, live Tory. That's the mantra that I live my life by.
That's actually Gaz.
Vote Labour, live Tory.
But yeah, keep the hashtags coming in. I want to see it at me, at Gaz, at FullTimeDEVIls.
Oh my God.
Tory.
Oh my God. Who's reading this out, me or you?
Oh, I've seen this edit. I've already told you.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I didn't know it was confirmed by
Pogba's social media posts were a scheduled event, part of a marketing campaign immediately taken down once it became apparent that it could be misconstrued as disrespectful to Manchester United and Jose Mourinho. So it's like I said earlier, actually, it's a standard because last night they were doing the event in Paris, so it's expected that they'll have their post coming in. Tomorrow it's like they do this. They're here to create the Adidas thing. We've all seen it. Again, Gary Neville loving it. He doesn't even want to look at it straight away. Gets into Pogba, gets on Twitter, creating a divide between the fans. You got all these Idars going mad on Twitter, which I don't like. All these guys. So the move that he did make on Twitter today, Gary Neville, I'm just absolutely.
Gary Neville's just completely made himself look a tosser. He
talks like he cares about the club, but if you care about the club, you don't create a divide between the club, do you? Between the fans and that. I absolutely love Gary Neville. Grew up watching him. United legend. So it's just frustrating to see our ex-players, instead of bringing in togetherness into the club and bringing in a different feel at a moment like this, instead you want to create divide between the fans. Hashtag Corbyn in. Guys, you're in the wrong stream, I keep telling you.
I mean, he might be able to get us back in Europe, so. King Eric is interim. Like I said, I think the only thing better than Solskjaer would be get Eric Cantona as a manager for 6 months.
Eric Cantona would be mint. I'd love
Not going to happen. Right, reading out the club statement again for you, by the way, just in case you didn't see this earlier on. Manchester United announces that manager Jose Mourinho has left the club with immediate effect. The club would like to thank Jose for his work during his time at Manchester United and to wish him success in the future. A new caretaker manager will be appointed until the end of the current season, while the club conducts a thorough recruitment process for a new full-time manager. We are yet to find out who that caretaker boss is going to be. So we'll wait and see. Well, the names coming out at the minute are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Laurent Blanc. They're the two names coming out of the media anyway that are suggested could take over at United for the next 6 months anyway.
Oh,
is it you? It's me.
It's you.
Is it me?
It's you. Let's end it there. Let's not tell them what we're talking about.
All right, yeah. We've had enough mentions of it. We'll have to start paying them soon.
Oh, mate, take the politics out of here. Is that Nigel Farage? Nigel Farage.
Farage.
We'll have a chance in Europe with Nigel Farage, will we?
You just fucking walk on the middle of the pitch and take a big shit.
Obama in. Santa in. Santa doesn't exist, mate. Sorry to tell you.
Why would you say that? What? What? Lies on the stream. Outrageous.
We ever let's actually talk about this. Who told you?
Let's actually debate this. Right, come on.
Who told you when you were a kid? Like, how old?
No one told me because it's real. It's true. What you want about it? I went to Tesco once when I was a kid and I did pull a beard off though, but he was a fake one that I went to see when he was doing one of them things.
Did you sit on his lap?
Shut up. Adam McCullough to take over as manager. We've had a few shouts for Adam McCullough. Neil Lennon. Fucking hell.
Oh my god.
Right,
Foster are in.
Guys, can we stop suggesting Ferguson as well? Has the man not been through enough recently? Bloody hell. Don't let him manager.
Rudolph in.
Michael Owen in. I still think Michael Owen is older of my favourite tweet of all time.
I hate
just
tweeted,
just ran over a rabbit, devastated.
Oh yeah, that.
Funny, brilliant. Yeah. You just can't beat that sort of...
He used to own one of my old jobs, like recently. He used to be a boss there. It was owns the company. So he turned up one time and I was like, I wasn't even interested. Just walked in and out. I was like, okay. There was United fans taking pictures. I was like, I don't care. Yeah. The most boring character ever. Like, it's not even an exaggeration, even in real life. There's nothing to him.
No, I know.
When you see him, I don't like him at all, to be honest, as well, because he played for Liverpool. So simple as that.
I know, right?
Did give us a goal though.
I'm genuinely nonplussed about Michael Owen.
Yeah, I just don't care.
Okay, don't really care.
Andy Tate in, keep them coming in.
He is an example. I tell you what, Michael Owen though may be an example, and I know that a lot of it came to injury problems, but you know how people talk about your players and football players and young players especially, and how they, you know, you hit your peak at 28. For example, people will say that midfielder hits the peak at 28. Do you think that like that's not the case if we're talking about players that have been in the first team since they were 18? So like players like Rooney is an example of this. Players like Michael Owen is an example of this, where it seems like they hit the peak way early. Lukaku, another one.
Yeah.
And do you think that people should change the way that they talk about like peaks in football and things like that? Like Lukaku, you can hit your peak at 24 years old.
You can. We've seen Vardy as well.
And fall off the back.
Different ages. Every player peaks differently. Every player sometimes needs the right manager. You got to look at what's around the player sometimes rather than just the player themselves. And I think we see that with a lot of people like Pogba, Lukaku, strikers that we're talking about in general. So I think sometimes you've got to look at it deeper than just the player themselves.
And how many games he played? It's like Lukaku. Now, could you imagine that he never gets as good as he once was? Could you imagine that though?
I would. I personally wouldn't see that coming.
I think he's going to be.
I think he's going to be good.
Back,
I think he's going to be back on it. I think just needs a season. With everything happening around the club now, we've got to give some players a chance. I'm not saying start him throughout the season. I still think Marcus' hold-up play this season has improved a lot. His energy is brilliant. His commitment, the running that he does on the side is absolutely fantastic. So I'd like to see Marcus and Martial really sort of hold that striker spot.
Really worrying me that like them comments have been happening since the start. The start. So that means like some people have commented it, then left, and then new people have come. I'm gonna have to look that up when I get in, mate. I'll spend a good couple of hours researching that later on. The tea lady gets the job potentially. She'd do a better job than the last three. Bloody hell. Lickham says gigs. Yeah, you know what? I genuinely think that's happened today. I think that Neville's rang Giggs up. Found out. Have you had a phone call yet? No, I've not had a phone call. And he's gone and seen what Pogba's put on for. Right, how can I stir shit up now? I don't give a shit anymore now.
Your thoughts on Fellaini, Matic and Lukaku's future? I think Lukaku's got a future at the club. I think Matic has been one of the most frustrating players to watch this season for us. But I think a lot of it's down to rest and a lot of it's down to not playing every week because he suits certain games, suits certain systems. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Lukaku, a lot of it's down to him. down to the manager as well, directly playing the ball to him every week when he clearly doesn't work. Let's get the ball in behind, get it into the box. That's where we might see something from Lukaku. He scored 27 or 28 goals last season, so he clearly does have the quality. It's just a setup around him.
It might seem like an obvious sort of observation, but like I was saying before, Lukaku in that Liverpool game, how many times did you see him running between two defenders? Like, give me the fucking ball, pass it, mate.
But because Jesse and Marcus are going to have to cover out wide, and there's no creativity in the middle because of Matic, Fellaini. Now, Fellaini is the other one he asked about. Marouane Fellaini, for me, has to leave because he's always an option. He's always an option. And then unfortunately, if it's someone that you play off a striker like Marcus Rashford, and to nip in the box, and he might get you a goal. But that's like mid-table level of football. That's why Everton did really well to keep up at that level, and that's why he did well there. So for me, Fellaini should leave by the end of the summer. Who else? Matic. I think he might have one more year in him, but I don't want to see him every week.
Matic, I can't. Okay, I mean, the saying goes for all of our players. So many of our players that we say aren't good enough. They are good. They're good enough to be part of the squad. They're just not good enough to be playing every week. They're important players in our team. Nemanja Matic could be potentially massively important player to us next season for his experience and how he is in the dressing room. And also how he is on the pitch as well if we're going to bring him on when we need him. But he can't
Carl Smith in the comments with the stats, 22 goals in 19 games for Mason Greenwood. He's absolutely class. Did you watch any of that?
I watched the goals. I watched his goals. And there's one in particular where he goes round the man and just slots it in like it's nothing.
I went to watch him the other day at Lee for the Champions League. I think it was Young Boys. And the camera unfortunately didn't pick it up when I watched it back. But the ball's on the line, shoves one guy off, shoves the other off, controls it in between, such a hard angle, takes it out. And I'm like, play Chongi through, takes it on his right foot and bang. And I don't know what foot he uses. I don't know what foot he is.
What, Greenwood?
Yeah, I don't know his left foot,
I've seen him do it with his left as well, yeah.
No, but like, he bangs them in. Like, there's one volley, but because like the mad volley that he took one time, just in front of a halfway line, that just curls round. It's a mental volley. Like, you just think, oh, he might be left-footed. But then he always comes on his right and just smacks it top bins, and you're like, what foot are you? He's absolutely class. He's got to come in at one point this season.
This season?
Yeah, I want to just see him because I think it's the right time. So the club wants something different. Bring him in into a cup game. Valencia would have been perfect to come in. Why not bring him on and bring in some width? Because he can play out wide as well in a game like Valencia.
It's like what I was saying before though about players sometimes reaching the peak too early. Like, do you not think it's maybe a bit too early for him to get in the Man United
I think he's been too good right now to not get a chance, 10-15 minutes in a cup game. That's all we ask for. 3-4-0 up, why not?
Yeah.
Give him a run up, give him that experience. That's how you make stars. If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
I know it's like the obvious saying, but if you are, you are. We've seen it with Marcus.
How's he been this season? I'm guessing I know you'll watch more of him. Tahith Chong.
Chong's been mint.
Is he quality?
Yeah, he's class. He's quality. I think physically he's improving a lot, and I think he's someone. I think Chong's actually someone that can come in and solve a lot of our problems on the right. Like in some games, maybe just to unlock what we do on the right. His the width that he provides coming into the middle, it has a bit of a matter to him. Sometimes when he drifts off the right and tries to create.
Is he not speed deep?
No, he's a proper winger, but as in when he comes into the middle, he looks to create a lot. But I think he can bring a bit more pace than Matter. Why not play in a system like that and then try, get sort of Matter in there and Chong and mix them up in cup games, anything like that. I think I'd like to see Chong and Greenwood. That's all I want to see.
Yeah.
Come in a couple of cup games.
And I think towards the end of the season we probably will, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Especially with a new, we definitely will. I think
we'll be winning the league, innit? And then the last game of the season, we'll just be giving them.
Right, going forward now, a new manager coming in, a new way of thinking about things, and our complaints about the teams over the last year or so, Eric Bayer's exclusion, Nemanja Matic starting every game. They're no longer givens now. So our next manager coming in, what do you reckon his 11 is going to be? His starting United 11? Oh, go on. What would yours be? We gave ours earlier on. So.
Mine right now from the players we have available. So starting De Gea obviously going to be a goal. I think Delors.
Straight away, right back.
Straight and low. Delors impressed me so much, man. Yeah. Like that game the other day, it's fantastic. Even against Liverpool, he wasn't bad at all. Provided a bit of energy, held his position really well.
Thing is with Delors, he's going to make mistakes, and I hope I just don't want people to get on his back for it. But he is going to make mistakes, and we need to be. He's a young lad, and they need to learn. Exactly,
man. I think you will get 1 or 2 games, and we've got to understand that. I'm just trying to think now. Centre half's a big one for me because I can go with an absolute wild one, but I can make arguments for him. I can say Tuanzebe, but I can genuinely make arguments for Tuanzebe.
No, He's been
playing every week since September, early September, I think, for Aston Villa. the other day, like 100% of his tackles he's winning. He's winning all his aerial duels, which was what he was lacking in his game actually. His reading of the game, he's brilliant on the ball, the energy that he provides, everything that he needs in centre half he's got. So if I'm going around our best 11 right now, I would like him to sneak in, but I'd say Bailly and Lindelof, but I think they do lack a bit of physicality in between them. But I'm saying for now, what we have right now,
I'd agree.
I think Bailly and Lindelof, especially when you turn up with teams that want to knock the ball in behind you. We've seen them both read the game really well. Bailly was brilliant the other day. For a part of the game against Liverpool, he was the one that was dealing with everything.
All the interceptions, didn't he?
So Bailly, Lindelof, Luke Shaw at left back. In midfield, I'd want to see Herrera in DM. I think he's enough for your defensive midfield. I think he can do the dirty work. But unfortunately, there's no movement ahead of him, and that's why people always say, oh, he's bad, all he does is run around. But there's got to be movement ahead of you. There's got to be players that work with you as a team.
He's happy to do the dirty work, isn't he?
Yeah, so let him stay as a defensive midfielder. Then I'd like to see a Pogba, and I'd like to see Fred alongside him. I think Fred he didn't have a great game the other night, but it's unfortunate. You can't bring him into a game like that. But he looked good for parts of the Bournemouth game. He's shown us that he has got a bit of quality at times. But you got to give him 2 or 3 games on a bounce.
Do you not think, like, I'm just hearing, like, Pogba, Herrera, Fred, there needs to be a defensive midfielder in there.
But that's the whole thought that's in our head now, that we need a big, like, defensive midfielder.
I think that's what Jose's done to us.
I think that's what's happened. But if you look at, like I said, Zidane, what's Zidane doing now? I know they were better quality players, but Casemiro was just a destroyer, still got involved going forward. Herrera can be that. Those games where Herrera's played in the past for us as a DM, like under Van Gaal, and then under Mourinho, him and Pogba alongside each other in 2 or 3 games, and it works fine. So why can't it work?
No.
So Fred's enough. He covers a lot defensively.
You know what I think it is? I think it's just like this. It's a sort of almost like an old-fashioned English attitude, isn't it? Of you imagine a defensive midfielder to be a destroyer, like a proper big hard bastard. But you need it to be a kicker sometimes.
But Matic actually causes us to leak goals because he doesn't read the game well. He's too slow to react.
He loses everyone on one.
Yeah, and he's just there. Like, what was he doing the other day? I didn't see him win any battle in midfield. Some people saying Pereira, so it would be for me Fred or Pereira in there. People say Herrera's finished. I think as a DM, but right now I'm saying for right now what we have, I'd put him in there because Pereira's too risky as a defensive midfielder. It would work in some games, so I'd go Fred, Herrera, Pogba, probably Jesse in a 10. I'd like to see us play Diamond, and then Martial and Marcus up front.
Yeah,
I think that packed energy, and then Jesse can cover for a lot because of what he does defensively.
That's a good point.
He covers a lot for, like, Fred will do well defensively, Herrera will do well defensively. You got Jesse in.
You have Jesse on.
What else do you want to see?
Jesse can also he
can
also work
great and do what he wants. People saying Rabiot can come in January. I like that because Rabiot's leaving regardless in the summer now. Brilliant midfielder. He would be a replacement for Caretaker.
How old is he now, Rabiot?
I think he's early 20s. He's only young as that.
Is he early 20s?
He's been around for so long. He's been in his first side. So I actually want to know this one.
I thought he was about 27, mate.
I think he's been in the side since, like, he might be 24, but I'm sure, like, he's been in the side for so long, since he's like 18. Let's just check.
So DJ Busher in the comments there saying we need a new attacking. I don't think we need any new attackers at the minute.
He's 23, mate.
23, Rabiot.
He's been around for so long, hasn't he? He's absolutely class, and he's looking to leave. So that's someone that can come in and slot in there. And then you need the balance. Then that's the rotation that you want to see. You can have Matic can fall down the pile, and that is not the worst, like I said, but he needs a rest, and he's not good enough to play every game. So for me, you got Herrera, Fred, Pogba, Pereira. Hopefully someone that's realistic like Rabiot, who's guaranteed to leave PSG in the summer, has problems at the club right now, as PSG has stated. Someone that can come in at a right age. He's played at the top flight. He's played in big Champions League games. That makes sense. And I think that's good enough. And I think if you were to make 2 signings over January, I think it would be someone like Rabiot, who's got his problems there, but he's a class player. And maybe someone like Koulibaly to step in there. And what do you go with?
I mean, as my starting 11 at the minute going forward, it wouldn't be too much different to yours. I'd maybe like Martial starting as a striker. That's something
by himself,
that I'd quite like.
Yeah. I like the idea of having Mata
and Mata in the team.
The only problem with that is then who's your defensive midfielder, because I don't like seeing Matic as your defensive midfielder. You can maybe play 4-2-3-1.
So I'm thinking, would I play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 for once? Maybe a 4-3-3 with Pogba, Fred, and I'm not sure about that third midfielder yet because I'm just not sure about the Herrera shout, to be honest.
For now, it might have to be that. For me, because there's no obvious one. Because maybe Matic in some games, but I don't know, man.
No, yeah, 4-2-3-1, I think, with Pogba and Fred, which is a little bit because the thing is, we for some reason, because Pogba's a big lad, people think he's a defence. He can that's his job, and it's like he's not.
But if you
he's
keep
not
the
a
ball,
defensive
then that's
midfielder.
enough, and you just allow Fred to do like a sort of Kante.
Yeah, and then
Because he's got the energy in the middle.
And then I'd maybe go for something like Rashford, Mata, Lingard, or maybe no. I think maybe we give Sanchez one last chance. You know. I think we give him a last run in the team and just see if we can bring it
realistically,
back.
like I said, what we have right now, and that's why I've just said that.
But
yeah, I would bring Sanchez in, but for now, I think the way the club's going, realistically, I think we can play with that.
Definitely. I love that Dennis has got in the comments saying Mourinho's been sacked.
Thanks, mate. I didn't know. Bloody hell.
How long we've been live since? 2.5 hours? Something like that. News coming out, or the news that came out hours ago. No one expected this. I was enjoying my lie-in. Producer Chris woke me up. Jose Mourinho got sacked this morning at about 10:15 this morning. No one saw it coming. Yeah, just to specify, by the way, producer Chris rang me to wake me up. He wasn't laying next to me. Rumours will start. But fake taxi and stuff. But yeah, so it has happened. Jose has gone a lot earlier than a lot of us expected it to happen. I think most fans were saying that it's either going to happen when we mathematically can't get top 4 or we get knocked out the Champions League. I was thinking about it last night, funnily enough. Because I do think about these things, believe it or not. And I thought that it was going to be as soon as we get knocked out by PSG, that's when he's going to be going.
Yeah.
We're bringing in a caretaker manager for the next 6 months before we appoint anyone permanently, which is the best news about the whole thing because it means we're actually planning our next manager. The media coming out at the minute report saying Laurent Blanc and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are the 2 names put forward. I cannot say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, his name, without smiling, because there's the idea of him as United manager for 6 months, where we know that if it really does get bad on the pitch, he's not here for long, and we can just enjoy it, and it can just bring us a real good vibe back at Old Trafford. And
I'm really looking forward to how it goes, man. Like our next game, I can't wait for that. I'm actually excited to see how it says.
I just need to flag up a comment there, mate, because I'm sick of comments like this at the minute. People talking about players that have left us, playing brilliant stuff. Someone's brought up the fact that Daley Blind's playing well recently.
He's class.
We should never get rid of it.
Class.
Mate, he scored a hat-trick in a game where they won 8-0. And so I saw people saying, let's bring him back.
Nah,
like,
but he's looked good. He's looked good in the Champions League. He's been leading their team from the back. He's looked brilliant on the ball. Why? There was loads of plays that should have left before him. Where's the logic of that?
That argument I agree
with certain technical players. Now, understanding, not all the time he might have been good enough to start, but
that argument I agree with. There were loads of other players that should have gone before him. I think, you know what? I think the reason I hated Daley Blind so much as a player was because at left back I thought he was utter trash.
There's a good
utter trash at left back.
But, yeah, and that's where he was being deployed. See, that's the problem.
And he was always playing left
Rojo, I know he's a madhead, and sometimes he does mess up at centre half. But when he plays at left back, he's an absolute shambles. When he plays at centre half, he has better games. It's like with some players, it's the manager sometimes and how they set them up. And
what about there for another name as a defensive midfielder? I know he's been deployed differently recently. Fosu Mensah.
I don't know why he's never ever been, and I think that actually ruined him a bit.
Really?
Playing at right back for us, I think that's it. He's stuck as his position everywhere he's gone. Maybe because of the experience of the players that we have. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's why we didn't need the DM at the time. But you know, like Carrick and McKenna will understand what Fosu Mensah brings into midfield. He might come in. We've completely forgot. That might be someone who just does all the dirty work. He's good on the ball, reads the game. We might actually bring someone into the side that does that for us, and that could be Fosu Mensah. But I struggle to see it because of how his career has gone recently.
It's annoying. Mark says Zaha, not Mata.
I don't want to call McTominay that, by the way, but that's what me and Steve have been calling him. Well, that's what Steve's been calling him, and that is everyone's agenda because he's so basic. But mayonnaise isn't basic, just so everyone knows. Like, we were saying, like, McTominay is so basic. Lads, Yes or no? Is McTominay basic?
Yeah. Well,
There was like a funny tweet the other day where it was like someone who'd gone for a meal deal, yeah? They had like ready salted crisps and they had like an Evian water.
Just cheese.
And then they had just ham, no mayo, just ham, no mayo on it. And then someone was like, that's Scott McTominay. I was like, that is actually spot on. Is Scott McTominay basic? Yes or no? Put that in the comments.
Scott McTominay, mate. He's not a Man United player, is he? Come on. I think we all know that.
That J Lings hoodie. Lads, if you want these J Lings hoodies, go to J Lings on Instagram.
How much is he paying you for this? How much is he paying you for this?
Chris is about to step in here. What are you doing?
But yeah. Brands are available.
All the brands are available. But you know, Instagram, J Lings.
Still working on that Adidas sponsor, mate.
Yeah,
Stop it.
We might get J Links to sponsor us. Why not? Go on, J Links for the sponsor. We'll get that out. I'll get chatting to someone later about that. I know.
I'll get talking to your people, will you? Yeah. Get talking to your people at JLHQ.
Yeah.
JL14HQ.
I would love J Links to sponsor us.
Yeah, it'll be good. As long as I'm still allowed to give like my honest opinion if he has a crap game. Imagine me to be sat there in his hoodie and be like,
Jesse,
it was crap today with his big face in the middle of my shirt. Just like a load of nonsense. Blanc or Zidane in, Alan says, yeah, the reports.
Johnny Evans in.
Darren Fletcher. You know
Mick McMahon is an Ipswich player.
I saw a name about Darren Fletcher. Darren Fletcher's... I don't know how to tell that story without it sounding weird on camera, so I'm not going to do it. I'll tell it another time.
That Andrew K just made a really good point. I think McTominay and someone else he put there, I think it's Hamilton, and it was like he was using like the least exciting players in the 23s or something. They have a point, because I went going to watch the 23s with Steve a lot last couple of years, and you'd see like Sean Goss, brilliant on the ball. He's got a carrot feel to him, understands the game, reads the game, drops into defence when need be, just runs the show. Matty Willock, engine in midfield. Brilliant performances from him in the 23s, and McTominay's the one that gets picked up. It was a little bit frustrating, and that says everything about how Mourinho spots certain talent and how he's not utilised the best players that we've got in our academy as of yet, in my opinion.
That's it. I mean, you've got to say, the club was in a toxic position, and it still is in a toxic position, but it could have got a lot worse, I think, this season. It could have got a lot worse. Yeah. It could have got a lot worse. Mark Chadwick says Ryan Giggs for the job. I'm not sure that Ryan Giggs is ever going to get knighted, mate, to be honest. I think there might be just a...
I don't know how to say your name, Bernice or Bernick or something like that. I lost it. But Antonio Valencia, right wing, get out of here with that. I don't want to see that comment again.
I'm going to say it. I'd rather see him at the wing than bloody right back.
Mate, he does nothing. Like, even all he does is like get down the right. He'll get in a good position and then he'll do this. He'll do that. And then he's like... Then we go sideways, I'll just dread it in the box.
But he did that all season once and he set up like 20 goals.
But it works when there's movement ahead of you, not bloody Matic, Fellaini and McTominay making runs in front of you. They don't even make any runs.
No, they don't. They do.
Talking bowl of custard.
I mean talking slowly.
Is that me?
I think Mourinho...
You're bullying me in the comments.
Valencia out, Alexis says. I think Valencia's on his way out any next summer. It's his...
Poch.
Young lads need to develop physically. McTominay is 6'4". Someone's having a go at you for your comments on McTominay.
McTominay is rubbish, mate. I can't say anything else. He's just not good. He's just not good.
I've not seen anything to suggest that he's any good.
Mate, I've watched him in the 23s. I am shocked he made it.
That's my diplomatic way of saying that he's no good. I've not seen anything from him to
The thing is, I have a feeling here that like Michael Carrick and them guys, they actually like him. I just have a weird feeling like that. But he's not good. People are saying, but Darren Fletcher wasn't... Are you stupid? Are you alright? Darren Fletcher was mint.
Darren Fletcher was mega.
Darren Fletcher was classmate. Darren Fletcher, we actually missed him in a Champions League final.
Yeah.
And he was big in our Champions League games. Don't you dare compare McTominay with him.
Exactly. That's just
no chance he's anywhere near his ability.
Kimpembe, that's another name.
Kimpembe, is it Kimpembe?
Kimpembe,
yeah. Kimpembe. Absolutely mint. Love him. Brilliant centre half, left footed. Can probably go alongside Bailly. I'd have him in there.
The snitch says Poch will never bail on Spurs to join. Yes, he will.
Mate,
I'm going to say that now.
Money talks, and the stature of the Manchester United, like such a big club like that. you don't get those opportunities every week.
No.
So.
He will, without doubt. There's no way Pochettino. I just can't imagine. It's making me. People say like, "Well, Spurs are better than you at the minute," and I agree with that. Yeah, they probably are better than us at the minute. But it still makes me laugh the idea of a manager saying, "No, I'm not coming to Manchester United because I'm happy at Spurs."
Oh no, of course they've got to say that though, innit?
I know.
Got to say that. Some people, loads of people saying that the reports are actually saying that. Like I said, just something different in the club for 6 months. Someone that will come in and play an attacking setup and get the best out of our players is what we want to see.
Yes, that is all we want.
Kimpembe's struggling at the moment. Recently, I've had 1 or 2 games where I've not been too impressed with him, but last season, mate, he had a brilliant game against Messi. I think it was last season. He was fantastic. And I've seen him play a couple of good games as well for France. I think he's got a bit of potential, but yeah, I'd have him. Harry Maguire as well. Loads of people talking about signings in here, but Harry Maguire, I think someone that can come in and suit Bailly and Lindelof on different occasions is what you'd want to see. Would you say that?
I just don't think Harry Maguire's quite at that level.
Yeah.
Although he's I mean, how old is he? 26, something like that.
He's 25, 26.
25,
he's around
26.
Jesse's age.
He's gonna improve.
It's mad that I watched Harry Maguire and didn't even know he existed in like 2011. Like I went to watch United's Youth Cup final.
Oh, right.
And like Pogba, Jesse were playing, and like Ravel Morrison scored like 4 goals. It was just
Yeah.
mad to watch. Joshua King was in there.
Yeah.
Michael Keane was in there.
I think I did similar with Chris
mad.
Smalling. That's not really as good.
That's
is it?
mad though. Why the hell did you watch Chris Martin? Was it that funny?
Was it Maidenstone?
Maidenstone? That would be pretty mental.
I might be making that up, but it's definitely a player who used to play non-league for United who I saw play and I didn't realise who it was.
Kimmich is a brilliant player. I think he can come into midfield. Kimmich is mint.
Well, some Tottenham fans are trying to convince themselves they're a big club. We've got a new stadium. He's not going anywhere.
To be honest, the stadium looks mint.
It does look mint. It looks mint from the inside. From the outside, from the eagle eye, it looks like a toilet.
Yeah, it does look a bit weird.
It looks like
outside,
a toilet.
yeah.
Tottenham fans. Oh, he's gonna stay. He's not.
Kimmich will run.
If United ask, he will come to United. That's it. That is it.
Oh, some people remind me we've got Ashley Young. You just don't do it to us.
Not for long, mate. These lot are out, I think. I just think it's going to be common sense now.
Yeah, it's got to be Dunno, Luke Shaw. Mate, imagine we go. Hear this here. So we go Cardiff away. Imagine this, and you start with Dunno, Bailly, Lindelof, and Luke Shaw.
It's just better, isn't it?
That's already a better
just
set.
better.
Like, then you've got...
But then Matic's not in the team.
Matic won't... Like, if you've got that, and then you've got, like, Pogba and Fred ahead of Matic, then it makes sense having Matic there. Do you get me? It's like
I suppose.
But it doesn't make sense when you have Fellaini, Matic, and Herrera.
Exactly.
So that's the problem that we currently have, and hopefully from this weekend we see something different in the setup, and we're just not seeing a dry start from United, a dry team that's put out, and something that's just not going to get the United fans up for the game.
Some people commenting now with the media reports that we were telling you about before, the front runners, the only 2 names that have come out actually in terms of taking over the caretaker boss, Laurent Blanc and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's a lot of people here asking what our thoughts on that are. Speaking for myself, I don't really think it matters that much what we think's going to happen on the pitch for the next 6 months. That sounds mad. I know that sounds mad, but I think this season, I don't think we've got anything to lose at this point, and it's all just about bringing back a happy situation and being excited to go back to Old Trafford and excited. And maybe it's going to be the only thing that's going to improve the atmosphere, having someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there. So I'm happy about it for 6 months, and like I say, I'm also happy that they specify they're going to bring someone else in.
100% agree with that. It's just taking the right steps, and unfortunately, the people at the top at Old Trafford have not been doing that for us. Someone said it was like, Madrid are waiting for to hire Poch or something like that. I think Madrid will end up getting Mourinho.
Do you think?
Yeah, I said this ages.
That's a good question, actually.
I think it goes Madrid. I'm almost certain, actually.
How does he warrant
because of how many people he's actually got at Madrid that trust and believe in him, and he's got good connections there. So something had come out about that in like the main newspaper. I guess I forgot what it's called, but like the main one in Madrid, and they were speaking about how he's still talking to people at the club. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there because they've not hired anyone yet. But if I was Mourinho, like let's just think about Mourinho. I would actually like take a step back from football for now.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Go hang around with your family.
Totally.
Take even a year or 2 out.
Man's been living in a hotel for 3 years.
It's mental.
It's ridiculous.
Maybe he just wanted to make the peas and bounce.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Like maybe, like make the bag and bounce, leave football forever. Like he'll
Secure the
manage
bag,
like
go.
he'll manage like Portugal in 2 or 3 years. That's what I think.
That's what he should do, though.
There.
That is what
Go
he should
chill out,
do.
Go have a couple mad summers in like Miami or something.
Yeah.
And like go like everywhere with the family, travel the world, and then get back into management.
That's it.
Portugal. If I was Mourinho, I'd do that. Like, why would you go and depress yourself again?
Don't go and destroy another club.
Because I do care about him, even though he's a bit of an idiot. I do care.
I like Jose. The thing is, I liked Jose before he came to United.
Yeah.
And this was the first time when I saw him shafting our players and actually, going against the club. Where I was like, because in the
And
past
he always
never
speaks
said
about him anyway. It's always him. It's never the club. It's never how big and great Manchester United are. It's always, I've won 3 trophies. I've done this. He never says United are a big club. We need to do well. He doesn't say that every week. Yes, he said that at times, but that's not his priority. It's always about me. It's always about, I've won 3 titles. I've done this. I've won the treble. I've done that.
And coming out after you've lost a game and coming out and saying what
just
you've won
hearing
makes
you
nothing,
about
no
you.
sense.
It's about you. It's always about you.
Inter Milan want Jose back.
That would be interesting. Jose, Inter Milan. Jose and Icardi. It's like the mad mixture of like the 2 bastards to lead Inter back to the top.
Right, here's one. Aquila. You guys shit talk our players constantly, though. He's comparing us to the manager of the club.
Mate.
Whip
Do you
right.
think, do you think someone's going to watch my Fancam and say, like someone big's just going to say, like Paul Pogba watches my Fancam and goes, oh, he's just calling me rubbish here. There's not.
That's it. I'm not turning up for trading.
But do you think if Mourinho says you're a virus or calls you out or says something in the press, you're going to be all right with it?
He's their boss, you know.
Or he says, I'm going to put you on a bench because right now things aren't going well, blah, 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 and he isn't speaking face to face. Do you think that makes a difference between me and you saying it on our fan cams than Mourinho saying it in his press conference?
I suppose we should take that as a compliment because evidently that person thinks that we're just as
some
important as Jose Mourinho.
I know some players that watch my fan cams.
But no, it's like, all right, get that in there, don't you? But like, we're fans. It's a fan channel. It's just as much your channel as ours. We give our opinions, just like fans do in the stadium. Every week. If a player can't handle a fan saying that they're not that good, they shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. Not at all, honestly. However, the manager coming out and calling you a virus is a totally different thing. That's your bloody boss.
Said it before we played Southampton.
I know. And you know
we
what?
had an awful game. I know we had an awful game, but you're barely filling them with confidence. If you bloody like, imagine you've walked in here, and Chris has gone to you. You're a virus, you guys. Come on, camera.
He does.
You're telling me.
He's looking now. He's saying the shoe fits.
But if he says that to you, you're telling me that's not going to play on your mind.
Yeah, of course it does.
Forever, that's what's going to happen. It's just standard.
Mate. If you can't get that in your head. So it says. I'm not going to mention that because I don't know who that is. Board don't have the balls for Howe. I don't think I have the balls for Howe. I think I'd be too nervous about Eddie Howe, to be honest.
Eddie in, lads. Eddie in all the way. But yeah, I would be, obviously. Someone's saying Tommy Robinson in. In what? In prison?
Oh, no.
I remember seeing him at Hotel Football.
Really?
He was about that big.
Why was he there?
He was there for like the Logan case.
Oh, right, okay.
It was well funny.
Okay. Follow our noisy neighbours and appoint a director. That's what we need to do. We're not following City necessarily, but we do need to appoint a director. Definitely, I think that needs to be the next thing that happens, I think.
Relax, we've got Mason Greenwood. He's going to score He's going to score a hat trick. I love that. That's what I want to be hearing. The Mason agenda. Get Mason Greenwood going. Let's get him in the team next week.
It might
get him on the bench.
It may.
That might be actually like the mad thing that comes in, like where something wild, like one of whoever's taking care of us this week, whether it's Caretaker or whoever, and no one's appointed yet. That might be like the mad thing that happens where you bring in Mason Greenwood, he comes off the bench and scores or something.
I think there's going to be a few players that we haven't seen in a bit get in the team. I think Pereira's going to be a lot more in the focus now a little bit, even if it's just to see how he can do. You cannot just be playing these players for 2 games and then dropping them for months, and that's not what the next manager will do, no matter who it is. Carrick's 48-hour Red Army. I love that. That's wicked. Give it Andy Tate till the end of the season. Sir Alex Ferguson until the end of the season. I keep saying this. Stop it, guys. We don't want to put him through it. Michael Rass says not Matic. I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about seeing, to be honest, mate. No Nemanja Matic.
Yeah, I think he definitely needs a rest, but I don't think he fits into every system, so he definitely needs to come out the side. I don't want to see Fellaini, mate. That's the one. We've had enough of just playing that style. I think, like we said, we need to see something different, something fresh, something new. And it's not going to happen if you got them guys starting every week.
Totally agree, mate. Made my Christmas, someone says. I just, worry. I just still have this worried feeling at the back of my head that not much is going to change.
You always go into it
because of the situation at the club.
But the fact that this has happened out of nowhere is just nuts, isn't it?
Michael Carrick's been confirmed interim, someone says, but we don't know that's true. Producer Chris is going to get on it, and then we're going to find out.
I think we'd have got a lot more comments if Carrick was in now. If there's only one. Trying to trap us here, lads. Don't worry, we've got our researcher in the back.
I don't know why I said that because everyone will comment, but it's all right. We don't get our news from comments.
But that is my agenda. Carrick as Manchester United manager. Actually, what do you call him when it's two? Can they do two?
Yeah, of course you can. No, nothing's been confirmed
why are you
yet,
lying
by the way. Stop it.
They hated it all by Axel. I like having Axel.
What's Cal Smith saying about my trim?
I like that teammate.
Cal Smith's just said Matic is as dead as Gaz's trim. What's wrong with my trim? Pay a lot of money for this. I actually
send you my barber's number.
Yeah,
mine isn't too great, but my hair's hard to deal with.
I'll take your barber's number, mate. I've just had that Canton armour.
Chris, you need to knock a $5 off my next cut, mate. That's not cameraman.
Yeah,
Chris.
He's got you a new customer, hasn't he? Come on, Barber Chris. Carrick would be so boring as manager. Yeah, maybe actually he would be. He wouldn't be. You couldn't exactly see him losing his rag, could you? I do want to see someone losing the rag a little bit, but. Greenwood against PSG. Producer Chris for football director.
Yes, let's get that movement.
Let's get it.
Chris is director. Who's the manager? I'm not having Statman Dave.
Nah.
He was awful, mate. He only gave me 5 minutes.
McCullough manager, Chris director. Howson can run the board. No, he can't. Carrick would get more out of Manchester United players. Someone shouts Trump for manager. Could be busy in prison soon, mate. Gary Neville in. No, not so much about that. Guys, though, we're loving hearing your opinions about this. I don't know how much longer we can really go on for talking about the same stuff. But
I think if you go back, you'd literally see us talk about every.
I think we've talked about everything.
We've talked about Stormzy potentially being a manager.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
But guys, we have really appreciated it. The news that came out today, though, I say we appreciated it, mate. It's been a pleasure, hasn't it? Just coming here talking about the football.
100%.
But so we've got the radio on tonight at 6. Make sure you get on our podcast on XS Manchester. Just to remind you about that, producer Chris just shouted it at me.
Karan, I love that.
And also you can get it on YouTube as well. We are going to be live on YouTube. I said earlier on we weren't sure whether we were going to do it live, but we are. So make sure you get on the podcast tonight from 6 p.m. I'm going to be there. Webby's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of discussion. It's only an hour long, so it is going to be quite condensed. But we want you to call in as well because it is a fan phone-in and you'll be on the radio to the people of Manchester and worldwide on our channel as well with your opinion on the situation with Jose Mourinho leaving Manchester United, who you think is going to be the next man in. So just keep an eye on our socials, keep an eye on YouTube, Twitter, all that. We'll be live from 6, but keep an eye and get the number. Get it ready, save it in your phone, get ready to give us a call later on. But guys, it's been a pleasure for us, hasn't it? Just getting in. You know what? It's been good, man. Because like you said before, right? Because I'll be honest, I was having a lie and say I've got a day off, and saw my phone, loads of missed calls, and I was formulating what I actually thought about the whole thing on the way here in the car, and it was good to sit down for what's it been 2 hours and actually just discuss what is going to happen next and what is going to happen.
It's mad because that's how I woke up and it all just happened. Because it's my day off, so I wake up. My mate's told me it's happening. I've seen a message off Chris, get in there, chat to the guys. We've got him through, I think we spoke about most potential managers, the interns, and what we thought about, obviously, Carrick or McKenna and that stepping in. So just enjoyed, obviously, talking about that. Covering that, there's still a lot more research and stuff we want to do and